Did anyone order a cleric with a sight of sass? If so, I'm Dahlia Avalon. Wow, how do I keep this short and sweet? I grew up in the poor sector of New Averant and took care of Papa after my mother died when I was 6. Papa was not well after she passed, so I bounced around waitressing and spent any of my free time at the Temple of Cocobio since he helped me feel close to my mama. But it was hard making ends meet as a barmaid, so after some encouragement from my best friend Silic, I enlisted as a cleric in the Order of the Fallen Star. Next thing I know, I'm across the realm with a team of strangers that have quickly become my family. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Ready for things to take a sharp left? Okay, let's see. Turns out Cocobio, the goddess of moon and stars, is not the most virtuous angel that we thought, and well, neither is New Averant. After defecting from the church and the government, I learned that Gladlin, the god of fate, is only a slightly less destructive hot mess. And now we're on god number 3, Halasna, goddess of sun and life. As Horai now travels the world as adventurers for hire. So far, so good there. I would totally hate if something bad were to happen to her. Oh wait, there's more. How could I forget? Turns out my mother descends from a long line of devil royalty, and not just any royalty, the Deimos clan, aka the Lord of the Shadowfell. My lineage gives me this devil form I can transform into, a natural foresight gift, or curse if you ask me, and a boatload full of family drama. I discovered I have a half-brother named Silic. Yeah, that's Silic. My mother at some point has been resurrected from the dead, and oh yeah, Deimos wants to use me as a conduit for his armies to infiltrate and conquer the Averant realm. Almost forgot to mention that part, it kinda haunts my dreams a lot. But it's not all doom and gloom in my world, promise. No, really, I have wonderful friends, hilarious and fun adventures, and I may have just met the love of my life in the midst of it all. Jodakash is the only person I've ever met to stand right in the face of danger and swing his sword without a second thought. With as much fire and brimstone looming over our heads, I couldn't imagine living in a world without him and our friends by my side, and keeping me sane. So whatever New Averant, the gods, Deimos, or fate seem to have planned for all of us, I know that Horai will be ready to face it together. Because if we go down, we won't go down without the fight. We got this, right? Right?
Every group has its dark and mysterious member, and to Horai, that would be me. I am Gajurakash Dromic, son of Zarmir and Nelian. I grew up in a small village within the elven kingdom of Nelithir, known as Irobada. When my father left my mother, sister, and I when I was 15, and never returned, I aided my mother in running her apothecary. 3 years later, I would join my sister Medicona in serving the royal guard, becoming a personal bodyguard for Prince Juvenile Galakia. Just 2 years into my service, though, rumors of our forbidden romance would reach the king, and the following morning, after a fight with his son, the king was found dead in his room. Blame was placed on me, and with my mother's plea, I escaped the main kingdom. I spent the next 6 months running from guards before finally catching a ship off the continent. The pirate captain of the Phantom Chevron, Joff Potra, took me under his wing for the next 4.5 years. Well, until a failed raid by the crew left me behind in the kingdom of Abris, and I was captured by guards. Desperate to save my own life, I offered any information I had on the kingdom of Nelithir, eventually capturing the attention of the Council of Nine. The tiefling Severus Toll had me released, and spent the following 2 years training me to be his personal spy. The next year, they shipped me off to join the Order of the Fallen Star, the army of New Averant. Here I would go by Gaiji Redfoe, and meet my team, now known as Ariath. It was only mere days into us being a group that we were sent out on various missions to destroy plagued villages, fight awoken gods in caves, and meet on our former commander, Silic Losren, and teammates Apollo and Ren. I would become a warlock of Losna during this time. An attack on our base gave us a promotion into the freelancer program, and gave us a ship, which we now call the Homeward Bound. I am the captain. We were sent to Solgaria, the Nalkadai. New Averant betrayed us there, and we fled to the Order of the Soaring Flame. There, Commander Vierthril asked us to clear a way to an Eltharian base on Alkadai. However, in our month-and-a-half mission to do so, we came across one of the sons of Bahamut, Anima. After kidnapping Zephinia, he sent her, Dira, Ren, and companion Treya 10 years into the future. Apollo, now Hades, Dahlia and I spent 10 years surviving so we could return to save our friends in Alkadai. Though we've recently lost Ran to their own missions, rescued Dira's parents, fought Dahlia's devilish grandfather, and I've proposed to my love, Dahlia. It's time for me to return to Nelithia and set things right. Only time will tell if I'm successful.
As the story of Arachnagai once said, who am I? You sure you want to know? The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. If somebody told you it was a happy tale, if somebody said I was just your average guy, not a care in the world, somebody lied. My name is Apollo. Abandoned by my mother at the Silverleaf Institute. As a baby, I grew up never knowing her or my father. I grew up living and learning all that I could from the school. Everyone was great. Well, not everyone. Well, really only a few people were nice. The Institute housed the wealthiest of children, mostly. The ones that could afford prodigious education, at least. Because I was an orphan that the school took in, I was seen as an outcast. And even worse, due to my abnormal tiefling appearance with wings and tail, I was seen as a freak. I spent most of my days with my head down and my nose in a good book. Books are wonderful. They show you amazing worlds and lead you on amazing adventures. Oh, just like my one favorite story, Shriek, where he goes on an adventure with his reluctant friend Mule and Shortbread Guy. Sorry, I get a bit carried away. Things went well until one day a lad in my studies picked a fight with me. It was then that I discovered I had magical aptitude and at the same moment lost control of it. A fireball erupted from me and exploded in an area around me. Due to my tiefling heritage, I was only slightly hurt, but the boy who started it all wasn't so lucky. The boy's family wanted me expelled from the Institute, but Professor Durnick fought to have me stay. The tribunal agreed to allow it, but he was to watch over me and make sure I never used my magic again. He agreed to do so, but in secret trained me to control my powers. It was mildly successful, but I still lose control from time to time. Years passed, and one day I overheard the tale of a woman who was kidnapped and taken to a cave. I felt this was my time to finally become the hero I always read about. Little did I know I would get lost inside cave. But I would meet my found family. We've had so many adventures since, and things have been great. Well, that is until half of them disappeared. Pulled through time, and I was unable to stop the magic, and it broke me. And that's when I came to take the lead. Nice to meet you, finally. I'm Hades, Apollo's other half. See, Apollo is very innocent and has a hard time dealing with extreme stress. During a few majorly stressful moments in his life, I have taken over to get him through those situations. That first came to be during the whole business with the bully and the fireball. At least that was the earliest memory. I lived deep in his consciousness, seeing and hearing all until I'm needed. His friends being split and sent into the future 10 years was just the needed push for me to take the reins again. The only problem is, for the next 10 years, I stayed in control and couldn't talk to him. So for the last 10 years, I've been running around having a grand adventure with Dahlia and Gaiju, who become like siblings to me. Stories we could tell. I could write a book. Anyways, I eventually reconnected with our friends and have been traveling since. Oh, and Apollo has started talking again, taking control for short periods of time. Perhaps he'll take back over soon, and I'll go back to the dark corner of his brain that I usually stay. Which is good, right?
I'm Dara Mullane from Currants Gap. My family's been the town blacksmiths time out of mind. So that's what I learned, and what I thought I'd always do. My little brother Aiden, though, he was different. Don't even know where he got half the books he read, and nobody ever really understood what he was on about. Some folks got more patience for that than others, and some don't have nothing better to do but make trouble. Fenton Antery was one of those. His daddy owned the mine. He figured that meant he owed the rest of us, too. One night, Fenton had been wasting time and his daddy's money in the tavern. Took some kind of personal offense from Aiden just being Aiden. My brother was on the ground when I got there, and, well, it's kind of a blur after that till they dragged me off. I'm told Fenton ain't never been the same since. With what passed for justice in the mountains back then, that was more than enough to get me clapped in irons and shipped off to some other mine. It was 12 years before the new Averant soldiers came and told us the mine bosses weren't going to be a problem anymore. Whatever we were in for, He would be forgiven, and we'd be free right then and there if we joined up. Seemed like an easy choice, to be part of the folks aiming to bring peace and justice. And for a while, it made sense. I even heard my brother got to go off to some fancy school to learn magic. I swore my oath to Kokobiel, angel of the moon and stars. Only it turns out she ain't what she's supposed to be, and neither is New Averant. It's all complicated. And my team, right? Well, they're mostly all smarter than me, but even I could tell when there wasn't no choice but to leave. So we did. And here we are. What happens next? Well, that's anybody's guess.
I never put much stock in families. My own sold me off to the black market to make money off the child with wings. I was nothing but a skinny street kid with broken wings from trying to escape. That is, until the Order of the Fallen Star Soldiers rescued me. My heroes in blue. I aspired to be like them and one day meet the big three: Soma, Geneva, and Aegis. My life turned around and I worked hard night and day to hone my skills and be the best soldier I could. I usually worked on my own until I was paired up with the most peculiar group of people. We were sent on some quests, our base was attacked, and I died. But don't worry, Dahlia brought me back. I think I could actually consider her my first true friend. Gaiju and Dira also quickly wormed their way into my guarded heart as our adventures continued. My world turned a little upside down at that point as we encountered creatures and were hounded by the gods. I'm starting to think my little group is a god magnet, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Anyways, one of these gods, Luna, decided that I would be a good stand-in for her and transferred her powers over to me. I met her sisters, which seem like major bitches, and I keep getting asked if I would choose peace or war, and quite frankly, I'm tired of it. And I would rather continue being the best soldier I can, which turned out to be not that great. My friend may have accidentally transformed into a slightly terrifying demon, which forced us to defect. But one of the big three, Soma, also defected, and it turns out so did his brother. So maybe my past heroes were not all they cracked up to be. I wish I could say things went well from there, but somehow myself, Dira, and Treya were transported 10 years in the future, while Gaiju, Dahlia, and our new friend Apollo were left behind. For us, no time had passed, but the rest of Horiath was stuck living in the past 10 years searching for us. We finally found each other just as Geneva, another of the big three, found us and was not very friendly. A few murders later, and we were free of her wrath. Soma found us again, and I'm glad he did. He's not as bad as Dahlia makes him seem. In fact, I think he's pretty sweet, and not too bad looking. Oh, and he gave me a gorgeous locket before leaving again. I guess I'm able to talk to him through it, which is nice. Anyways, Horiath ventured to the Shadowfell to save Apollo, who's now Hades, from Dahlia and Silic's evil grandfather. I was again hounded with that peace or war question. Obviously, peace is not an answer in our line of work as trouble keeps finding us. I think war might be our only option to protect my team, who has taught me what a family should be. Honestly, I can't even imagine my life without them. I've gone through a few changes recently. I couldn't tell at first, but the team seemed pretty concerned. I don't know why, since it's just a little hair and makeup change. Well, maybe my eyes changed a bit as well, but it's not that noticeable. At least Soma seems to like it.
Did anyone order a cleric with a side of sass? If so, I'm Dahlia Ablon. Wow, how do I keep this short and sweet? I grew up in the poor sector of New Averant and took care of Papa after my mother died when I was 6. Papa was not well after she passed, so I bounced around waitressing and spent any of my free time at the Temple of Kokobiel since he helped me feel close to my mama. But it was hard making ends meet as a barmaid, so after some encouragement from my best friend Silic, I enlisted as a cleric in the Order of the Fallen Star. Next thing I know, I'm across the realm with a team of strangers that have quickly become my family. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Ready for things to take a sharp left? Okay, let's see. Turns out Kokobiel, the goddess of moon and stars, is not the most virtuous angel that we thought, and well, neither is New Averant. After defecting from the church and the government, I learned that Gladlin, the god of fate, is only a slightly less destructive hot mess. And now we're on god number 3, Halasna, goddess of sun and life, as Horiath now travels the world as adventurers for hire. So far, so good there. I would totally hate if something bad were to happen to her. Oh wait, there's more. How could I forget? Turns out my mother descends from a long line of devil royalty, and not just any royalty, the Deimos clan, aka the Lord of the Shadowfell. My lineage gives me this devil form I can transform into, a natural foresight gift, or curse if you ask me, and a boatload full of family drama. I discovered I have a half-brother named Silic. Yeah, that's Silic. My mother at some point has been resurrected from the dead, and oh yeah, Deimos wants to use me as a conduit for his armies to infiltrate and conquer the Aberrant realm. Almost forgot to mention that part, it kinda haunts my dreams a lot. But it's not all doom and gloom in my world, promise. No, really. I have wonderful friends, hilarious and fun adventures, and I may have just met the love of my life amidst it all. Jodakash is the only person I've ever met to stand right in the face of danger and swing his sword without a second thought. With as much fire and brimstone looming over our heads, I couldn't imagine living in a world without him and our friends by my side, and keeping me sane. So whatever new Aberrant, the gods, Deimos, or fate seem to have planned for all of us, I know that Horiath will be ready to face it together. Because if we go down, we won't go down without a fight. We got this, right? Right?
Every group has its dark and mysterious member, and to Horiath, that would be me. I am Jodakash Dromic, son of Zarmir and Nelian. I grew up in a small village within the elven kingdom of Nelithir, known as Irobada. When my father left my mother, sister, and I when I was 15, and never returned, I aided my mother in running her apothecary. 3 years later, I would join my sister Medicona in serving the royal guard, becoming a personal bodyguard for Prince Juvenile Galakia. Just 2 years into my service, though, rumors of our forbidden romance would reach the king, and the following morning, after a fight with his son, the king was found dead in his room. Blame was placed on me, and with my mother's plea, I escaped the main kingdom. I spent the next 6 months running from guards before finally catching a ship off the continent. The pirate captain of the Phantom Chevron, Joff Potra, took me under his wing for the next 4.5 years. Well, until a failed raid by the crew left me behind in the kingdom of Abris, and I was captured by guards. Desperate to save my own life, I offered any information I had on the kingdom of Nelithir, eventually capturing the attention of the Council of Nine. The tiefling Severus Toll had me released, and spent the following 2 years training me to be his personal spy. The next year, they shipped me off to join the Order of the Fallen Star, the army of New Aberrant. Here I would go by Gaiji Redfoe, and meet my team, now known as Horiath. It was only mere days into us being a group that we were sent out on various missions to destroy plagued villages, fight awoken gods in caves, and meet on our former commander, Silic Losran, and teammates Apollo and Ren. I would become a warlock of Losna during this time. An attack on our base gave us a promotion into the freelancer program, and gave us a ship, which we now call the Homeward Bound. I am the captain. We were sent to Solgaria, then Alkadai. New Aberrant betrayed us there, and we fled to the Order of the Soaring Flame. There, Commander Vierathril asked us to clear a way to an Eltharian base on Alkadai. However, in our 1.5-month mission to do so, we came across one of the sons of Bahamut, Anima. After kidnapping
I'm on the engine, so let's hope.
All right, making sure audio's working. All right, yeah. All right, cool. Looks like everything is good. I just want to double check audio per usual. I've gotten way paranoid. All right, sounds like we're doing good. Welcome back to Nutty Play. Welcome back to Blades of Bahamut. If you notice that there's a person missing out of here, do not forget to check out some of the previous episodes. I don't want to give anything away as it is a spoiler of why they're not here, but make sure that you check up to know what is going on. If you do not want any spoilers, I'd recommend checking up some previous episodes. Otherwise, this will kind of throw you off.
Why are they sad? What the fuck?
To remind you, real quick, a few announcements. One, tomorrow will be Echoes. Thursday, we'll actually be having our Pride D&D session at 5 Bar over in Beloit, Wisconsin. So if you're in the Northern Illinois, Southern Beloit session, or Beloit, Southern Wisconsin area, come check us out. We start playing at 7. We do still have a couple spots open if you want to play. Anybody else got anything specific? Cool. So, last we left off with the unfortunate but helpful sacrifice of Gajurakash. The team escaped and spent the next amount of time having of sad moments in their own way, in remembrance, while also some people trying to fix up the ship so you guys can get out as quickly as possible, knowing that you can't save everyone. As this damage is going through Nelithir, you can't just go and save them. Best bet is to leave after the ship is fully repaired. Some of you met with other people on the ship. Some of you decide to seclude yourself from others. And afterwards, a rest. Whether it was a rest due to exhaustion, or you actually purposely tried to go to sleep. I know we did do some things in the morning. Food was being made by Sophinia, I believe. And, sorry, I did watch this. I watched the last one yesterday. I forgot a few parts. Food was made by Sophinia, made many people happy. Food was brought over to others. And that's pretty much where we left off. So it's next day. It's about 10 a.m. Sun's bright. Ship is mostly fixed. It is seaworthy. But if for any reason you guys go into combat again, or if for some reason maybe a large enough sea creature hits you, you are effed in the A. So take that with what you will, whether or not you guys want to do that now and head towards the tide, or if you want to spend more time maintaining the ship. That is totally up to you.
I imagine I got up, got some food, and I'm trying to acclimate myself to what's going on here, so I'm Arthur's opinion on that.
Okay.
So, they're telling me that we could go now if we needed to, but they don't sound real certain about that. What do you think?
Well, so we got a lot done over the night. They were able to patch up any holes. And kind of like leads you over, since the sill kind of like tilted a little bit. You could kind of see that they kind of like did like, you know, put lipstick on a pig. They very much patched up a lot of wood to it, but they didn't fix the problem. They band-aided it up. And it is an ugly job, and unfortunately you guys are not at a port that can actually take care of you. So they did what they could. He mentions, if you're ready to go, you are captain, and I will follow your lead as much as I followed his. If you are ready, I will get the crew ready to pull us out into sea. I can guarantee that if we do not take any significant damage from here to wherever we go, we'll be fine. We'll probably have to go slow and steady. I don't know what your destination is. I think we can handle weather as long as the weather isn't too treacherous. Major waves, storms might be a little bit much for the ship. If we deal with any smaller creatures, I think we'll be fine. Any bigger creatures close to the size of maybe a kraken might be a bit problematic for us. It is not very hardy right now. But if you are willing to feel confident, I will follow your lead and we can head out whenever you're ready to whatever destination that you all have decided upon.
I appreciate that. Do I have a vibe from the crew in general about, are they antsy to get out of here? Are they nervous about what's happening on land? You can give me an insight check on what would happen to us at sea.
You can give me an insight check on the crew as far as the overall vibe you've gotten throughout the whole morning.
Natural 20.
Nice.
20.
With the exception of two of them, the rest of the crew is antsy in a matter of two speakings. One is, yes, they would rather be on the sea, and they've been on land for too long, and maybe there's the sea as their home and they'd rather be out. The other ones of that group that want to head out maybe are afraid another battle is going to come, and they're the ones that are not battle hardened with more land-based weapons. Maybe they can handle the cannons. The other two specifically are good either way. This is specifically your Raven Master and the chef. You would assume, as far as the chef, he would prefer time to go get supplies, but he is very much understanding that that is an impossibility.
Okay. And what's the deal with the Raven Master?
Raven Master himself has had the Raven Master he has had problems ever since the battle, being able to get a lot of his let's say flock back. Ever since the battle, he's been having a hard time retrieving his ravens, and they are more or less used to finding him on sea, but he hasn't been able to call them. So he's afraid that maybe if he leaves a spot for so long, he might forever lose them. He still has two ravens with him right now, but as far as you could tell, he has been afraid to send any messages to them because he is not getting any ravens to return. In a little bit of retrospect, he has a total of 6 ravens. He sends off 2 at a time. So he currently only has 2, and he hasn't seen 4 in a while.
Okay. So, I guess, where is everybody? Of this group.
Ren's in the woods.
Sophia,
Okay.
you're muted. Oh no.
Technical difficulties cause headaches.
No.
No.
I saw that. Why?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. I tell you though, I have an alarm on my phone for like the Thursday before you come here. Be like, make sure to remind Amanda, bring her laptop. It'll fix this thing.
Oh.
Oh no. I can help you troubleshoot in a second. Okay. Where's Ren in the woods?
Right where you left him.
They're at Gaiju's
Burial site.
funeral.
Yep.
Ritual. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
they're holding vigil.
I'll let Hades declare where he is first.
I do declare.
I do declare.
Beauregard. He's probably still in his bunk room. He probably hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
That's right. He
And then,
locked himself in.
And Joe, when you get a second, do you still have the picture of the greatsword?
Did
The
I?
Persephone sword?
The feathery greatsword thing? I know you sent me an image of what you were like, this is probably what it looks like, and I was like, yeah, that's good.
The
Or you shared it, I think, at one point.
feathery greatsword.
It was the like reddishy orange like great sword that had kind of the feathery flow.
I don't remember this.
The one he had made.
I remember seeing
Yeah,
it,
the one I hit
so
me.
I can help dig.
Oh,
The
that
sword
sword.
he
I think
Okay.
you I think you shared it. Yeah.
I
I don't think you actually sent it to me.
oh, gotcha. I just like randomly
Oh,
clapped on the blades
okay,
chest. Like,
she
why is
says
there
in
cloud
chat-
strife?
Z- She says in chat, Z cooked breakfast, so I assume you're still like in the mess. Okay.
Let me see if I
At
can
some
figure.
point during the night, or probably early morning, Dahlia got up from her little boat and went back to the burial site as well.
I want to say it was this.
Do you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hey.
We hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I got my phone. So hopefully, what I send you is what I told you.
If not, I'll find something new.
I just remember. I think what we picked was it was like blue or something like that, wasn't it? Or
It was like orangey purple, I think, but the blue one was in the shop.
oh, right, yeah. Was that what I sent you?
Negative Ghost Rider, that was not it.
Negative Gross Fighter. Shit.
I'll dig. I'll see what I can find.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, Dira's gonna like look around and see if I can figure out where everyone is and kind of slowly gather us up. But it sounds like you two have a chat to have in the woods. So
Okay.
Ren is sitting on the ground in like a meditation pose, but you can only tell if they're sleeping or meditating because they're very still.
This is probably a bit earlier than around 10 o'clock. It would be like at maybe dawn, before dawn. But Dahlia would just show up with a blanket, holding the sword. And seeing Ren there, she won't bother them, but we'll just sit down near the grave as well and just be there. Because I'm assuming she probably knows that they're leaving soon, so.
After cooking, I'm gonna grab bowls and just try and find everybody and just set it down silently next to them. Make sure everybody has some food.
alright, so that puts you three in the woods. I'm still reticent to go knocking on Hades' door. So, I'm gonna...
You're
Come
gonna
up.
let Zephinia do that first?
You do have to bring him food.
That's what I meant. Like, you're already volunteering, so.
I'll bring Dahlia and Ren food, and then I'll drop food by Dira. I'm gonna head
So
over
are
to
you
Hades.
coming out into the woods to get us?
I mean, I came to the galley. I came to the mess to eat. So you did not have to find me.
Okay. So yes, I brought food to you guys out in the woods. Then I'll go back and knock on Hades' door and just hold food out.
He opens the door, and he's just like, can I help you, Z?
You should eat something. You didn't really eat last night.
I guess that's kind of the weird thing. I don't really feel hungry or feel like I need to eat.
Even more food, or even more reason to eat. Just gonna kind of shove it through the door right in your face.
He'll take it and just be like, thank you. Yes, that's fine.
Are you coming to the mess hall with the rest of us?
Perhaps in a bit.
I have questions from what Luna told me, and I'm hoping you can help me find the answers, since I'm gonna kind of peer around them at the books and realize the books are kind of everywhere. Maybe maybe you could help find these answers?
Yeah, I can certainly attempt.
And come meet us down at the mess hall. I'm gonna walk back to the rest of the group.
Just close the door and put the food aside.
Oh, but it's so tasty.
The coat. It's the coat.
I gave myself a point of exhaustion, Joe, because I did not sleep.
Thank you.
Hades just dumps the food in his coat.
My speed coat.
If not food, then what?
The coat is a mimic.
The souls of the living.
Dahlia would weirdly take the food, but sets it beside her and still hasn't eaten it at all.
Bird hops over to your food and does the bird thing where they try to pick up the spoon, but they just end up shaking the spoon a lot.
I'll push she'll just look down and push the bowl towards Bird. You can have it.
Bird is trying to pick up the spoon and hand it to you.
I'm not really hungry right now, but thank you.
I open one eye and look over at Dahlia.
I look back and just shrug.
How's the ship?
I think preparing to leave soon. And she just looks down at the burial site.
So, after a few minutes, I figure out that you're still out here, and I don't find Dahlia until I come out here and we see that Ren is also here, and we just kind of sit down on the ground outside the circle, and I kind of look at where you had poured the oil, where the fire was. Well, ship's ready to go. It could be better, could be worse, but pretty much everybody's on fire to get going, and I can't say I blame them. Where do we go?
You know, I was about to ask you the same thing. Is Luna with us?
I don't think so.
Where did she end up in all the
Where did she end up? I don't know.
She's not with you.
Okay.
We don't know where she ended up, right?
I think she flew away, right?
So yeah, she flew away. She gave the rest of her celestial powers to Zephynia, and then she flew off.
She disappeared. Okay. Okay. Then Ren has no reference of that. They do look at Dira and say, "Treya left.
Where'd she go?"
Yeah, that's why I haven't seen her. She left a note in the captain's quarters, as well as a gift for you, Dahlia, if you haven't been there. And also something I think that might come in handy for the All-Mother. We should discuss it with the team, but essentially I think it was intended for one of us. It allows a creature to rest in peace once it passes. But knowing very well we do not intend to leave Gardu beyond the plane of the living for long, I did not feel it appropriate to use it here. But something as powerful as that, which could allow us to prevent reincarnation used against an enemy, Now, would it work against a god? I haven't the faintest idea. But it could, if we killed them. Which is what we intend to do, right?
Find a way. I mean, that's been the intent for a while, but I don't know. Still don't know how.
Who was it that was told to find the little one? Was that Zephinia? DM?
That was me.
Okay. Well, perhaps we should come together and try to figure out a path forward. But we do need to get away from Nellis here.
Well,
I will send...
you're telling me that the ship will hold up if we don't run into any big scary monsters or big scary weather. We should be able to get to where we're going, but we need to know where we're going.
Perhaps we should make for a larger port in a neutral zone for more improvements of the ship. Otherwise, we might not last long in the wilder areas.
I agree. Where is anywhere neutral anymore?
Well, Dahlia and Hades would know better than the rest of us. They've been here far longer, and they've been operating under a neutral flag for a decade. So I assume they might know some. Perhaps smugglers' ports or other out-of-the-way from under the eye of the Averant Empire.
Dahlia's gonna be quiet for a long moment, but she'll just quietly say, "There's plenty of places around the Heartwind Kingdom."
I could check in with B, see if we could...
We pick one of those. I pull a note out and kind of where I've got it folded to the PS and say, I thought maybe this was a joke. I don't understand. And I show them where it says, Captain Mullane. Arthur don't seem to think it's a joke. I don't know, I was learning to steer the ship, how it works. But anyway, I guess it's just about... So I guess I tell him how to get where we're in charge of him to get where we're going, but I ain't going to decide where we're going. I don't know.
Did I say I join back up with the group now as they're talking over?
Maybe are we wending our way back, or are you still needing to stay here, Ren?
Well, I only intended to stay until we left. It is the purview of the monks of the Soaring Flame to accompany the dead on their journey if they are laid to rest within their walls. So, when we leave, I will be ready to leave.
Alright, well, we can't decide much without you. I guess
don't see
we'll come to you.
Well, it sounds like we're ready to go. Well, most of us are ready to go. I look at Dahlia.
She's still kind of transfixed on the burial site, but she's listening.
Oh, wherever we go.
All here. Just about.
I just wanted to spend some more time before we left. But if we're leaving now...
If he's anywhere, it ain't here, it's where you are.
Can I meet you back on the ship? Just a few minutes.
Sure.
And she'll stay behind.
I didn't want to get Hades up. I didn't know how Lady was up with his books.
He's up. I dropped some food by him. I didn't eat much again. But...
He ain't been eating at all.
No. A little worried about him. I asked him to help me find something. Luna said something before she left. She mentioned a child version of herself.
What about
the
her?
child. Part of her, part of Cocopial.
Right.
I think that might be our next step to find. If we can find her, we can get more of her power. We can find some way to take down Cocopial. We can bring Gaiju back.
The dream where I saw her was in the temple in Havren, but I can't imagine she. Do you suppose they moved? Do you suppose she was really there and they moved her?
Maybe that's where we start. Maybe we go back to Averant and we hunt her down, because we have to find her.
I'm not sure they have her at all. If they did, I think she would already be gone. The things that I gleaned from the information I absorbed from the mirror and the ritual site seemed to suggest that they intend to unite them all. And if that's the case, I would assume that we only hastened the process by killing Nunaveska. As much as I wanted her dead more than anyone else, perhaps.
You think her power went to the ones that are left?
Yes, I do. I'm certain. I'm nearly certain. And that could be why Luna is divesting some of it to Zephynia to protect herself or to make it harder to collect it. Although that's just theory. Hades is really the one who might understand that more. But I think the separation is what weakens them, and the reunification is the ultimate goal, and always has been. If we do not prevent that from happening, and especially if Luna has suggested to you that we must find the child, maybe it is to keep her away from the Allmother. I shudder to think what would happen if she were restored to her former self. As corrupted as she is now.
I used to think separating her was a mistake, but maybe they did know what they were doing. I don't understand why they didn't just send her far away somewhere.
It almost seems as if the corruption is isolated. And that Luna, well, I don't know, there have been some questionable actions there, but the child perhaps may not have any of the
I don't think
corruption.
She knows any. She don't even seem like she understands any of it. Maybe
she may be the only.
Another chance.
Know more than we think.
She may be the only pure one of them.
Maybe she's another chance to be what she ought to be. But the others, wherever that came from, wherever that.
Well, whether we're protecting her or taking her power away, I have an unfortunate theory, which is that Zephynia may be the only person who can rally enough power to defeat the Allmother. Again, just a theory.
Why we have to find this child, because if she has more of that power, we can't let Allmother get to her.
And we have to keep the sword away at all costs. So I'm not quite sure what we do with that next if one of us isn't wielding it, but even then we aren't invincible. And we need to see what Soma found.
Right. Well, first order of business is getting out of here, and that means knowing where we're going. Sounds like Dahlia and maybe Hades will have an idea of that. We got to do that before we can go looking for the child, or we'll wind up at the bottom of the ocean. We ain't do no good to anybody.
I have several maps. Perhaps we can compare those with the ones on the ship and see if we can't, the future maps, and see if we can't cross-reference a point that would be safe to harbor and seek repairs and plan.
Right.
I'm assuming we're having this conversation as we're walking away.
As we're walking back.
Walk and talk.
So Ren picked up the bowls, but the bird stole the spoon and is just like sitting there next to Dahlia on the rock, just like gently scraping the spoon where it says beloved friend, and then just looking at you, but like When it cocks his head, it goes clunk.
Oh.
Pouring the spoon over the burial site?
No, he's not pouring it. He's just holding it because it's
Oh.
big, and he's not very big. So he's just like, when he cocks his head to look at you, the way that birds do, it just goes clunk, and like hits the stone a little bit. But he's just sitting there with you, while we're walking away and leaving you there for a while.
Dahlia will reach out to Pet Bird if they like pets.
He does like pets.
Okay, I'll pet him.
He's more bird-like than he's ever been. Like, when he first showed up, when you first met Ren's bird was like a shade. And then, over time, they kind of turned into a crow, like a fully fledged crow. And they seem to have, like, a full, a body, and they seem to be, like, whole. But now that they, like, more resemble Gaju's bird, they're like a whole ass bird. Like, it's just like a normal bird. And it's hard for you to imagine that it comes out of Ren's plague or Ren's shadow when you see like this little perfectly normal looking bird. Well, as normal as a little miniature thunderbird can look. Yeah.
Well, if Bird likes the pets, then Dahlia will pet Bird, and it hurts a little bit because Bird looks so much like Gaiju's form, but she just find a little comfort in it, and only stops petting Bird to finally open and read her letter from Gaiju, to which she obviously sheds some tears and sits a couple minutes longer, maybe even pulls Bird into her lap just to like cuddle something warm. And then
like clatters onto the rock, and then it just like it snuggles with you.
I give Bird a healthy snuggle. We're not trying to kill Bird, but Bird's presence is welcome. And after a few minutes, then she will get up, dry her eyes, and whisper her goodbyes. And I'll see you soon, and head back to the ship. Probably still clutching Bird.
Yeah, I was gonna say I will send the bird to scout once you get back. I'd like it to, like, now that it's daytime, to go up high and take a look to see if we can see any evidence of armies around, or how the devastation looks in the surrounding area, to get a better idea of where we can sail safely and see if that has changed at all.
I mean, based off what you already know and what you saw, going as far east, probably more northeast, once you pass the Soaring Isles, is going to be your safest bet.
Okay.
So if we skirt around north of Sargaria toward... we gotta go around down around... Well, anyway. Alright. So, do I remember correctly that there's, like, a table that we can meet in, like, the captain's quarters, or are we looking at going to the mess?
Mess.
Okay. So I guess we'll gather there, and... So, Finny, you said, Hades was up. Does he show any sign of coming out?
It's hard to say. He didn't seem that pleased about having to come join all of us, but I did let him know we had questions, I had questions, and that we would need his help.
Are you wearing the
I'm
sword?
hoping he'll come down shortly. No, I still have the sword in the room for now. She can only process one thing at a time.
Right, sure. Is Soma around? Like, has he come out?
You can hear him, like, not moving, but it sounds like he's up.
We should have him in the
I
meeting.
can go get him.
He might know have some ideas about where we can go to. More mines probably better.
What's happened with him since I've been gone? Last I knew, he was a point person for Heldra, and now he is bosom buddies on the ship. So,
Yeah. Well, we're
Everyone's sounding quiet on stream? Yeah. Oh yeah, for some reason Discord application
we
went
all
quiet.
sound quiet.
Alright, how about now? For some reason Discord went down to 5% for some reason.
Testing.
Where on the continent are we right now?
You
for
are
reference?
between Aberdeen and Carthus, so you're right here.
Okay, so we and the army went toward Carthus.
At this point, the army is already past Carthus. So they started at the kingdom, and they are moving their way north. By this point, they are about at the peninsula.
Okay. So it would be better to sail south and around the bottom of Nelithir?
Yeah,
and
you
then
would
head
assume the smartest way is to go south, and then go east around the Saurian Isles, and then depending on your destination from there, that at least gets you around. Because you assume that Saurian Isles has not been attacked yet, if by this, whether this is Avrant or Nelithir or whatever this organization is that's just ransacking the whole place. If they haven't attacked the Saurian Isles, which is what this specific island is.
And then what is the status of Sorgaria now that it's 10 years later? Is it still very active in the center of the military? Like what?
It is still just as it was before. It is still the epicenter of the freelancer system, and is still the housing of Renard Tafton's main hub.
I'm not super excited about sailing anywhere close to Avrant or Sorgaria, frankly.
We gotta go between them to get to Heartwind. I don't know where else we're gonna go. Back to Alcadar?
I mean,
we could go south under Nelithir and sail west, and then go up toward the Abris Kingdom.
Question: Are we a flat Earth realm? Can we not
absolutely
go left
fucking
and then?
not. No, this is a round realm.
So if we just went,
But do we know what's past the edges of past the edges of the map? Will we come back around?
Yeah,
I mean, if we sail east.
So if you want to go west of Nelithir, you will run into Heartwind.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yes.
All right. I was like, wait.
My dumb history brain is like, oh, we're in olden times when they don't know what's on the other side of the globe.
If someone pulls out some Sam flat Earth shit, I will be Matt Mercer and I will start snapping.
I was not expecting it to be flat. I was just expecting that this is the known world. So that is good to know.
No, yeah. So it will still follow the same concepts. You go all the way north, if you go all the way north of Valkada, you will head over to the Avrant Aegis's kingdom. If you go all the way
Okay.
west, you will go into Heartwind.
Well, knowing that makes our life a lot easier. That we can
Okay.
then we can go
Yeah,
south
I
and
was-
go west.
I was
Especially if
that
Dahlia-
way doing equations.
Especially if Dahlia was recommending places in Heartwind, that might be
Right.
the solid bet to just go west.
That was my train of thought, which is why I offered it up, but just had to confirm.
Well, we can ask our interim captain and the crew and see, and then of course pick the brains of the people who have been traveling for 10 years and find out, like, where in Heartwind has been places where it's safe to dock and or, like, might be able to, under the radar, go and get some repairs and things. If we could get Skyborn, it would be much
Make
easier.
everything easier.
As much as I do not enjoy being midair, it is the more efficient means of travel.
I like it.
It's a long way down.
That's true enough, but it's also a long way up.
For those who can soar in the clouds, they needn't worry about the descent. But some of us are not so lucky.
All right. Well, once Dahlia gets with us, and it's worth asking Soma. He might know, he might not. I don't know.
Can we trust him?
I think he ain't got
Have
nowhere
you
else
ever?
to go.
No, but Ren hasn't been around him, and these fools have.
You just
I
served
think
him
he
a
ain't
farm.
got nowhere else to
Trust me
go.
with my life.
I think, as far as it goes, he wants what they're doing to stop. That much I know.
Well, I'll tell you this much. He loves Zephynia enough to face the All-Mother alone. I tested him in the past. Doesn't mean I trust him now. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you're not a absolutely miserable, rancid
Hate his
piece of
expression right now.
crap on the inside. I know.
I understand what he wants. I don't understand what you mean when you
Yeah,
say
you
trust.
do.
So
The thing is, if Amanda, go bye
I
bye.
think Luna ended the call! Opening some cookies or something, and Luna got up, and then immediately she went
oh
out.
my god, that's so funny.
I knew she was plotting something when she stared at us so intently.
And just while it's Dahlia, or while it's Dira and I alone, I just say, the thing is, and coming from me, there's a bit of irony in this, but Average used those three first to experiment on the plague, to imbue them with supernatural gifts. And the consequences of that, I mean, you see them. It will kill me eventually. But more than that, it's not about the killing, it's about the corruption, and you all saw that in Alfred. And there will be a point, for me, for him perhaps, for anyone who carries a bit of the poison that Averant has so thoughtlessly doled out into the world. There will come a point when we will not be the ones piloting our own impulses. And that is the time in which we are no longer safe. I have no idea when that time will be, and I hope that we find an answer to it before then. But
I think that's what drives him.
I can relate to that.
As far as trusting, don't seem like you much trust anybody.
That's not true.
I only know what I think people want, what I think they'll do to get it. That's as much as we can know about anybody.
I just think we have to be wary of changes.
Spend a lot of time being wary, because ain't been nothing but changes.
It's exhausting, frankly.
Sorry?
It's exhausting, frankly.
That's true enough. I don't know. My life was exactly the same for a long time, and then exactly the same for a long time after that. Ain't been nothing but changes since. All in all, as much as some of them have sucked, I'll take the changes.
Some change is good. As hard as that is for us to feel right now. But there are very precious few ways to find the answers of how to return our friend, if any, and we will only find them in places even more dangerous than we've been now.
Well, only thing I can know for sure, things are going to keep changing. All we can do is try and see if we can nudge it to change in the right direction. For now, the direction someone wants it to go is the one that we want. If that changes, we deal with it then.
If it comes to pass that we have to kill the girl, do you think that you can?
I ain't rightly met her. I don't think I saw her in a dream. I think we all know how true any of that is. But if she's what I saw, I can't imagine anything that would ask that of us who wants the world to go a direction that we want.
Guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will.
I just eat.
The food is delicious, isn't it?
Everyone to show up.
It's real good. Do we have Zephinia and Dahlia back?
I would say Dahlia would show up about 20 minutes after y'all officially get back.
So we're getting there.
I'm grabbing Soma and dragging them with.
Oh, where are we going? Where are we doing? All right, let's go.
Oh, the group wants to talk to you. They
want to talk to me?
want to include you in everything.
Well,
Yeah.
Wait, Dahlia's not gonna be there, is she?
Yes.
All right.
Bet you're
But I'll be there too.
All right.
What's your problem with Dahlia, motherfucker?
It's not what his problem with Dahlia is what Dahlia's
It's
problem
what
with him.
Dahlia's problem with him.
Dear me.
Go.
I am emotionally unstabler.
He has not had
Shortly
really too much
after-
problems with the group, except for Dahlia.
Shortly after Dahlia comes in, Hades would shuffle in.
Shuffle.
I would say before Dahlia actually walks in there, she goes and gets Silic.
Yeah, so let's hear.
You get to be two people, Joe. Have fun.
Yay!
Your two favorite people.
Alright. So everybody's in the mess.
Alright. So
Take a seat in the back corner.
here's where we stand. Apparently, I'm the captain now. And we can't take that up with him because he ain't here no more. Ships more or less in one piece if we don't run into any real big monsters or real big storms. Consensus is we ought to get somewhere where we can get supplies, fix it properly. Dahlia seems to think maybe somewhere in Heartwind. So, we got a crew ready to go. We need a destination. Thoughts?
Still say we go back to where the little Luna last we well, not we, but maybe you had the vision. Maybe there's something there.
I never saw her in real life
raises his
there.
hand. Little Luna.
The fourth
So-
one. She's a little girl.
Part of All Mother. She's little. She's a child.
We're trying to find a
But
child.
she's still.
Yeah,
She's
the
part of
goddess
All
broke
Mother.
into a bunch of pieces. One of them died. One of them's the dragon that almost killed you. One of them's another lady, and one of them's a little girl.
Do you want to go
And
actively
don't want
pursue
them-
them? All right.
We don't want them all to be together because then she's super powerful, and that's not good.
Luna, she's the wild teenager thing that gave her power to Zephynia.
Yeah, she
She said we need to find the child. I saw her once in a dream. That was in the temple at Averant, but I ain't never seen her there in real life. I don't know what that meant. And that was
possible.
10 years ago now.
It's possible that you saw her in the temple because it has a direct connection to Cocopial and therefore is a conduit of some sort.
Maybe,
I'm
so
very,
She might not have really been there.
So
very reluctant to just jump into New Everett for any reason. unless
We
we
ain't.
absolutely have
I
to.
say we can't go there till the ship is fixed.
Yeah.
That can't be our
At
first
the
stop.
very
Silic
least, and
interjects.
only if we
Understand that we need to find
wrong-
her, but
Only if we have a strong inclination that she's actually there, because it will be a dangerous mission, and we will lose things if we go there unprepared.
and people.
Yes.
Silic
Silic, you want to
interjects.
say something?
He's just like, look, if you guys are going to actively go towards Aegis's, I'm out. I got a kid coming. I got a wife. Not for me. Drop me off somewhere else. I am not actively going to that area. Do you guys want
I
to?
No.
see.
Noted. We got to go someplace else to fix the ship first anyway.
Silic and Soma kind of like look at each other. Soma kind of speaks up. There is a port a little hidden on the other side of Nelithir that most Avern doesn't know about, or at least most of them don't know about, that we could maybe take the ship to get fixed, but it requires us to soar around. Yeah, the far west side. We'd have to go around, but most of Averant doesn't know about it. Only a few soldiers.
There are plenty
gonna
of
tell the
ports in
others?
Hearthwind.
I heard two things at once.
There are plenty of ports in Hearthwind as well.
There are. But if we're worried
My
about
concern-
making sure we don't take sail too far and want to stay on the seaboard, we could hop around and make port without going too far into the sea.
You said only if you know about it. Go ahead.
My concern about a Nelithian port is that the entire Nelithian army sought out to destroy the cities of Nelithir just last night. So if they knew about it, if the king knew about it, or any other citizens that were captured, interrogated, then they know about it.
Realistically, only the freelancers know about it. I didn't see any.
How'd that happen?
I didn't see any freelancers. I wasn't part of this organization.
No,
that took them out.
I mean, how is there a port in Nelithir that only the Averant freelancers know about?
It was our way of repairing ships without the Nelithirians know about it. It's run by one of ours, or at least what was one of ours.
If it still is, I don't think any of us want to go there. Least of all you, I would think.
So let's go to Hearthwind. Just make it easy.
How long is the journey to Heartwind from here?
Yeah, how long is the journey?
If anybody wants to look at a map, they can give me a nature check as far as navigation wise to see if they can figure out how long it would take as an average.
I have been learning this navigation shit, but nature is intelligent, so that should be entertaining.
I'm gonna get out
Those
my
skills
map.
to use, Captain
11,
Elaine.
4, 10.
I'd like to get out my maps and help you to give you advantage.
Thank you.
I have those.
Let's take some assistance from the person with the brain and the maps. And that's going to be a 5 for 4, so that does not help.
Okay.
As far as you can estimate, it can be anywhere between, if the winds are at your favor, 2 weeks at longest, maybe 3 months.
long time to sail without repairs.
We don't know what will hit weather-wise.
I have a compromising suggestion, which is we could sail southwest round the bottom of the kingdom. When we approach closer to where this harbor is, we could lay anchor at sea, away from it, and then we could send a reconnaissance team to check and see what the status of it is. If it's abandoned, and it's a place that we could potentially harbor, and there are supplies, we may be able to improve the condition of the ship for a longer sail. If it is inhabited by aberrant soldiers or freelancers, then we take our chances elsewhere. Or kill them, of course, that's always an option, depending on how many there are. And how long is the sail to Abris from here if we go past Sorgaria like we were talking about?
Oh, if you're going over to the Abris Kingdom?
Yeah, like if we go north, as we were talking about doing, like sail out east and then up north past Sorgaria.
Okay, so you would go east of the Sorin Isles, and then you would just go.
Yeah.
Okay. Based off that, check still. That follows the same parameters, so anywhere between 2 weeks to several months.
So anywhere we go, we are going to spend weeks at sea. So
At best.
I think the risk.
I think that makes sense. I don't like the idea of going to this place. No offense, Selma, but I think it's I agree. It's our best option right for the first step. Right now, what we need is a first step.
We have many avenues for stealth in this.
I will stay aboard.
Invisibility, darkness, silence. I think we can at least observe to check the possibility of port.
At least getting supplies.
Make sure our wanted poster is not up there.
Might be too early. It takes a while to draw all of us, after all.
I imagine the first one would be Selma, so...
Oh, they already have business. I've seen it all over the place.
I'm gonna get up and go towards the map and be like, Silik, can you point on the map where this port is?
He points right here.
Or was it Selma?
It was Selma.
They both know about it. They're both. They're both freelancers. You guys would have known about it too, but you unfortunately were not freelancers long enough due to situations.
Gotcha.
I'll be like, how difficult is it to get there via land?
They both look at each other. This looks like I've never been there before. I know about it, and then someone speaks up. It's like, well, if we want to go directly across, assuming that we're not going to have any obstacles as far as the Averant and Nelithian soldiers, walking maybe 3 days. If we have some kind of carriage, or if we're going to be running, obviously that can be lessened.
My concern being...
Do I know if that requires us to go through the mountains?
It does.
Because I would... Yeah.
He'll just be like, well, my concern would be if we can sail there quicker, then the armies can march there.
Well, I will say, and this is always speaking, it would be safer, and we'd be guaranteed, at least mostly guaranteed, no interruption by any kind of weapons if we decide to sail there. Obviously, it would take more days in the process. If we cross, it'd be quicker, but yes, we do not know what kind of faults may come our way during our travels there. So it's either speed or security if we are planning to do this.
Is there a nest nearby by chance?
There are several. That was my original research found nests all throughout the mountain lines. There's about 10 in total. There was one that I found that I was originally trying to recruit you all for, but obviously things got in the way. And I ponder if a lot of its attack has something to do with the nest itself. And he points on the map exactly where it is, which is right here, like at the highest point of like where a mountain is.
So what if we were to get the ship halfway, create a diversion by taking care of this nest? Most of the Avern soldiers would go that way, and we sail into the port, get it fixed, and leave.
I don't think we'll need to create a diversion. They've already mostly headed north.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're moving their whole battalion at once, not leaving anybody behind, hence the easy escape that we had. Well, somewhat easy.
I'm wondering if they're headed for the Aberys Kingdom. Is there any, in those memories of the 24 hours that I had from the mirror, was there any talk of the Aberys Kingdom between Lunaveska and the Allmother at all?
No, yeah, there's nothing talk about anything that relates to any words. No merfolk, no Aquarians, nothing like that. No Aberys. Nothing was put in that 24-hour information when you were when you were touching the actual mirror. The only things that you really got were specific the three other kingdoms very much. Like you got some information about Heartwind, but mostly it was Averant and it was Nelithir. That was most of the information you got. Other than the fact that this was a way that the Lunas communicated to each other. Or at least one of them.
I just don't see for what reason they would be headed north. Unless it were to secure the cities to the north, but the connection to the Aberys Kingdom is quite near, and if they wanted to attack it from both sides, they possess Elkadai by this point, don't they?
Yeah, they have Elkadai under their control. Silic does interject, and he does mention, just because only the other person in the group they would know this is unfortunately not present. He mentions, I am not too familiar with Nelthir, but when I was raised, I was told to never go too south of the Aberys Kingdom due to their what do you call it? What's that?
The Leviathan?
Leviathan.
Due to Leviathan. He mentions a term called a sun lamp, and he points to this icon.
Mm-hmm.
Nelithir had a way to make sure they could track the Leviathan to that sun lamp. Perhaps they're trying to figure out, taking control of it, of how to watch the Leviathan for some reason.
Let's do
What do we
this.
know about this Leviathan?
Let's
What do
go
I
to
know
the
about
port.
the Leviathan?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
What do I know about the Leviathan? Being from here and being a spy.
You know the general knowledge of what most people know, that at least know about of Aberys, but never have been there. You do know that there is a gargantuan creature that is a dragon devourer that is a protective Aberys, but has only been the protective Aberys since the beginning of this current age. And it will not leave its borders, but it treats the surrounding areas of Aberys, which really just reaches out almost as close as the point of Nelithir, as its domain. Anybody it crosses through, unless it's commanded to let them pass, it will attack them without any reason to stop. It is the only reason why Aberys doesn't care to leave, because they assume that the Leviathan is the most perfect defense.
Without express permission to enter the Aberys Kingdom, I do not recommend sailing north. And I agree with Silic's summation that there's likely the goal is to secure and harness the power of the lamp, because they will never be able to conquer Aberys without conquering the Leviathan.
So they want to use it to get past the Leviathan.
At
That's
the
why they're
very
headed
least.
north.
It seems strange that they are taking so many, but I'm not quite familiar with what the defenses of that region are like. So I'm assuming, is heavily reinforced. But Lunaveska has had her influence in the armies and the politics of Nelithir for my entire life at this point and longer. So who knows what systems she put into place, but she's gone now. So
And they're wrecking everything.
all I can assume is that Everett has now ceased in its attempts to undermine, through subterfuge, the throne, and instead have directly taken control. And short of checking in with Juvenia in some way, I doubt we will find out.
Let's do
Rudy's
this.
has his journal out now, and he's kind of been thumbing through it as you guys are all talking. And he kind of just like points at the map. He goes, "My understanding is that they now hold Sagaria, Nelithir, Alkadai, and the new Everett Kingdom to the south. Am I correct?"
Right.
From what I've learned from Kaiju was that in tactics, you shore up your borders. They are going after Aberys. They are going to take it because it is a gaping hole in their defense. If they take it, they now control half of the world.
More than
And if I were them, that's what I would do and start pendulum swinging around to take the rest. We were talking about the child, the little Luna, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Ren, you were not there for this. At one point, we were pulled into Saphinia's mind. We dealt with a whole situation I'm not even going to go into situations with. But for those of us that remember it, and I look over to, I think it was Dira remembers?
Oh, to which time?
the Christmas one, I think.
The Christmas one?
Yeah.
The Christmas one?
Where
Okay.
I don't even remember that.
I think Kaiju was the only other
Yeah, I
person
remember it.
remembered that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I do remember
It was Dahlia and Z, I think, did not remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry.
He'll be like, I wrote some information down. If I remember correctly, the very fiery, angry one with the mohawk. They were stating that Khalid is where they were from, I believe.
Ren, who has
I think that's what she
seen-
said, yeah.
Ren, who has heard conversations with Silic and Gaju through spying about Gaju's vision in full of what happens to Dahlia in Khalid, flashes Silic a look when that word comes up.
All I will say
Yeah. That's where she's
is that
from.
something that was mentioned by them was while they were there, they went to this manor or mansion, and inside of a closet was a dimensional door that took them to a laboratory where there was a small child who was a deity.
I didn't hear her say
What?
that.
And they saved the child from this laboratory and maybe averted something, I don't know. But it sounded like
she's
it
in
was.
Khalid?
It's a lead.
She
mean,
was
'cause they were
fine,
from-
but if-
The future, so
I see what you did there.
So
But
they
at
found
this
her there,
point,
then-
did we determine the time difference between us at that point? Did we realize that it was like a
I think it
30-year
was-
difference
I think they did tell us. It was like
or 10?
Yeah, you would know the
Yeah,
amount of
like 30
you would
years.
at that point. Yeah, it was a 30-year difference. Yeah.
Okay, and then we had the 10 years, and then so he'll just be like, it was potentially 20 years from now, but at the same time, who knows how long she was there? If this is some kind of conniving thing, and if you think about it, and the All-Mother is moving an army up and around, Khalid, in theory, would be the last destination.
I'll look at Dahlia. I was apart from you all for a very long time. Did Gaju ever tell you what he saw in Khalid?
you can see like she's kind of paled out a bit, and she just says, "Gajurokash said never to go to Khalid."
Silic. I think that it's fair if she knows. He's gone now, and she deserves to make her own decisions about her future.
She just shakes her head and sits up, and she's like, "We're not talking about this right now. We're talking about where we need to go next. Let's stay on topic."
Let's just put it
I'm
this,
guessing-
as Silica's just talking, we're not going to Khalid. it's not safe.
Back to the point of where to go next.
Right.
Let's go to
All
this port,
Let's go to this port, check it out.
and if there are nests there, we can take them out while the ship is getting fixed. And we go
Sounds
from
like a
there.
plan to me.
So Soma speaks up. So we're sailing around the southern borders that way? Is that the intention? Is that what the plan is?
I do not
As
want
I
to leave,
understand it.
I don't want to leave the ship unprotected while we cross by land. I think we should stay together.
That is fine. All right. Is he just kind of like steps up and stretches a little bit? Just kind of starts kind of getting into like, starts slapping his face and getting himself all ready. Well, when do you want to head
What
off?
are you doing? All right. Well, I'm going to go talk to Arthur then, and we'll get everything battened down and get ready to go.
We'll head out
Sooner
today.
the better.
Where is Ultima right now? The sword.
Under my bunk.
Okay,
Sure.
got it.
Wrapped up.
Right.
Under my bunk.
Okay, got it.
And it's not going to stay unprotected there for long, because I think once we're underway, I'm going to deal with that issue.
Got it. Okay.
I'll just look at Hades and say, you may not have heard the news, but Treya has departed. She has left something for Dahlia, which I think is potentially dangerous, in the captain's quarters, and I recommend that you use your keen arcane knowledge to review it.
Use your big brain.
Are they saying this out loud, or are they saying this
Yeah.
aside?
Mm-hmm.
What did she leave?
A gift for Dahlia, but it's an interdimensional object. Don't
Well,
really.
I-
What was
Honestly,
Treya doing
I-
with that?
I've had no issue with Treya. I don't think Treya has shown any malice towards any of us, and if it is a gift for Dahlia, then that is her decision to make.
I don't think that she does either, but she's also extremely powerful, and she's also innocent in a lot of ways. So, it seemed to be potentially a prison, potentially not.
She
And I
left a
don't know
prison
what's-
in the cabin?
She left a box in which you can store something or someone against its will, and only can be opened with a command word from the inside. Inside, I
Sounds like
believe,
something we can use against Kokopiel, All Mother.
which is why I say we should have Hades look at it if it's potentially dangerous or useful. But if not, and if there's nothing wrong with it, of course I don't intend for it not to be for Dahlia, but the box itself is strange for a girl like her to carry. So I think it may be worth reviewing.
She
She
leave
obviously
anything
left
say
it.
where she got it, maybe?
No, and she left it for a reason. And when I tried to stop her from leaving, she would not. And it sounds like she was fully aware that one of us was not going to make it to the end of this journey.
She sees things.
She does.
Sure, I rolled a 24 on stealth. Can I slip out of the room without everyone noticing?
Unless someone has a passive perception of 24 or higher, which I don't think even Ren does. Unless do you, Ren? Do you have a perception of that high?
I'm
Passive
not.
perception?
I'm 19.
Okay.
Wait till I take observant. Bitch.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Then you
We'll
make your way
figure
out without anybody noticing. Too much is going on, and nobody naturally can notice someone slipping that good out.
All right.
All right. Well, y'all figure out what's going on with that. I'm going to go talk to Arthur and see what I need to do to get us underway. Get yourselves ready to go. Got any other questions? Let me know. Thank y'all.
By the time
As I that's all seems like very confident, and as I go out of the room, you kind of just see a lot of nerves.
I mean, as soon as you go outside, Dira, you do notice that in preparation of what would he assume would happen, Arthur already had the crew like latch on cables and ropes to the lopsided side of the ship to start like being ready for the command to start pulling it level. He's just like waiting for whatever you say.
I am going to go up to him and take him aside and quietly show him our destination on the chart.
So you want us to hug as close to the shoreline as possible, or
Not super close.
Not super
I'd rather
close.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep a safe distance, but
Okay.
we also want to get there fairly quickly. But
All
it's
right.
quicker than going across open seas.
And you want to start heading out as soon as possible?
That's the plan.
All right.
Thank you.
So are we
Alright.
gonna try to like anchor a fair distance at night and then kind of reconnaissance inland?
I think that seems like the plan.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
All of a sudden you hear Arthur. It's like, all right, everyone, heave! And immediately start hearing just like ropes pull as the ship starts to you can kind of hear like the creaking of the wood as it starts trying to level itself out a little bit as it starts sliding back into the water against the beach sand itself. Dahlia, where'd you go?
I went to the room.
Okay. You do see the box. Ren, did you take the bag?
I took the fantasy cocaine.
He's like the fantasy of cocaine. Okay, so you see the box. I
think-
forgot fantasy cocaine.
With the fantasy cocaine, but the box and the note are still there, I believe, right? Was that the only other things that were there?
Yeah, I'm pretty
The
sure.
note, I rolled a bonkers high sleight of hand, so the note is rolled up and is back in its ribbon. But I did leave you a paper, like a piece of parchment that just says like, I have identified the box. I do not know what it contains. Here is what I know about the box, and it's just a description of what I learned about it.
Period.
And that's it.
This is the first time I've been in this room since he passed, so it's a lot of emotions, and Dolly's trying her best not to look at everything in the room, but she wants to see this box for herself. And so she reads the note, including Ren's addition, and she will check out the box. Can I roll Arcana?
Absolutely.
I don't like that you played my theme. This is still really sus. I am.
Could she roll it with
Panic.
advantage because I straight up gave her a dossier on the item that
Sure.
I left there for her?
Sure.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you for the +3. It's still a 7. I am way too trying to keep my emotions in check being back in this room.
I mean, you can definitely tell at bare minimum that the box, whatever's inside the box, is radiating with an increased amount of energy, but most of the Arcana is coming from within the box. That's all you can tell with that check.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? You're going to open up the box?
I'm gonna open up the box.
Okay, for some reason, due to your touch, the box just opens up even without any force. Inside, you do see a singular dagger, fitted perfectly to the size of the box itself. The dagger itself has a crystal handle, no guard, and the blade itself is... I gotta remember what kind of stone it is. Hang on. 1 second, I gotta remember what it is. Made out amethyst.
Oh, I love amethyst. It's my favorite crystal.
The blade itself, as far as the actual amethyst, not the handle, naturally has a radiant aura that you can actually see the magic kind of almost blooming over it a little bit. Not in like a cursed way, but more or less like you can actually just see like the magic slowly radiating over it.
The blade is made of amethyst? Or there was an amethyst gem?
No, the blade is amethyst. The what
Okay.
would be the
I'll
metal
double check.
would be amethyst, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So steel handle, amethyst blade.
Okay. I will pick it up
Okay.
and try to examine it.
Give me an insight check, please.
I'm so good at those. 29.
You get a second to choose how you're going to respond to this. You hear a gentle call from a female. I welcome you. Do you accept or do you deny?
What are you?
You can only find that if you accept.
Can I Arcana check the vibes of this blade?
Sure.
Is it gonna kill me? Like, I just want to vibe check it.
If you would just want to know if it's going to harm you with its magic, you can give me an Arcana check. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I've been promised many things in my life from people saying it's going to be all right, and it was never all right. So, what did we say it was?
Arcana.
Okay.
Or your vibe check.
My vibe check was a sturdy 9.
A sturdy, hearty 9.
Yeah.
The voice is gentle, calm but sorrowful. But as far as magic that is harmful, the item is not cursed. It doesn't look like by just saying the word, just by saying that you accept or approve, will do anything that will harm you. As far as any other parameters of the blade, unknown. By at least communion with this thing does not seem to harm you.
I'm grieving. Sounds like a good idea to me. I accept.
I mean, you don't have the fantasy cocaine, so it's the next best thing.
Yeah. Let's trusty amethyst dagger.
All right. As you accept the invitation, you immediately can't help but close your eyes, almost like you can't help but pass out. And you wake up in a world much like how you were being communed with many gods before, more specifically Gladland, but this is completely different.
Just had to say many.
Hang on just a hot second. Where is the fucking damn it, Bobby?
Please play something happy. Please play something happy.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Where is it? All right. So as you get pulled into this world, it is dark. You can see your hands. You can see your body. You can see nothing else around you. You have a flat surface. You at least know you're walking on. And you start noticing that whatever you're laying down on or you decide to stand up on is completely solid, perfectly flat. No bumps, no digs in the ground, nothing. And it is solid. Maybe you tap on it, there's no hollow points. Then you start to feel water drops on you. Slow but surely. Then they get faster.
Am I going to drown?
No.
Thank God.
Water's-
Alright, that's one of my fears.
Water's not accumulating. As lightning strikes, you find yourself in a large town, abandoned. Give me a history check.
Fuck that dice. It's not been helpful. History check?
Yes.
Okay, 16.
This place is very familiar to you. You've seen it several times, but have never actually been in there yet. There's the vision you've seen fighting off Silic.
Motherfucker. Alright. I kind of came here to get away from bad vibes, but this is still pretty bad vibes. Just say that out loud.
Okay. No one responds. You're just in the location that you've seen before. Nothing's actually happening on the kid vision. You don't see your future self. You don't see Silic. The place actually looks in well condition. Towers are pretty high. Nothing's really broken yet, but the place is abandoned. The rain keeps coming down.
Do I notice if I'm getting soaked from the rain, or if it's just like a vision sort like passes through
The
me,
water
sort of?
is hitting you and it is getting you wet, but it's not getting you as soaked as this water should. Almost like the water is still getting you damp, but it's more or less draping off of you instead of actually getting you fully wet.
Soaking, okay.
Then you get pulled out of this. You find yourself in what looks like a temple of some kind. Water now stops raining, but you are in about 2 inches deep of water as the water settled on the ground. You start seeing pews set up. Start recognizing this place. Maybe you can't feel like you can walk any further, so you can tell where you are. And you just see a shadow of your worst vision of what could have happened, but you never saw it.
Can I... So there's a shadow of a person? Or...
You see shadows of what you assume is a mother and Gaju around the corner, fighting each other off. But before you can investigate, you get pulled out of this one as well.
I will gladly get pulled out of that one.
Water itself starts getting... Go ahead.
Nothing. I was gonna make a shitty joke that it's a small world ride, but it's just everything I hate. Continue.
As you start noticing, it's got a little more humid in here. The heat increases so much that the water at your feet evaporates. And you find yourself in a lot more less precise place. Ground beneath you is more rigid, rocky. It's still more cavernous walls, but you're within some kind of house. Only one wall itself is a cavern, or at least rocky. Ceiling, floor, 3 other walls. Seem like some kind of house. But the floor itself seems to be converted into some large runic. You see a large throne. You see a shadow of someone being pulled on by cages and chains. As you see yourself, or at least another version of you, being pulled. A much older version of yourself. You get pulled back again. Till you find yourself at the top of one of the buildings of the first vision you saw yourself at. This time it's different. The rain has slowed, but still coming down. You're on top and you see that there's a long, what looks like maybe antennae rod that's flat against the ground, and it's hanging over as you see this female just standing there, back towards you, and she's fully balanced, one leg in front of the other, just standing in there. Just looking off. Not saying a single word.
I'm just gonna shuffle awkwardly and say, maybe this was a bad time to touch this dagger, because I'm not having a good time right now, and I keep seeing sad things. Hello?
She doesn't look at you, but she starts to speak. I'm only giving you my power because you can handle these things. One that breaks so easily does not deserve my power.
It doesn't... I'm flattered, but... it kind of sucks. Don't really feel like I'm holding on too well right now.
As you see this, what looks like a pale-toned drow turn towards you, still balancing on this. Gray skin, this gray and red and kind of purplish armor / dress. Long red hair that's shaved off the side, just kind of floating into the wind. As you see her red eyes, but looks like she's just as sad as you are. Whether or not she's sad about something else, or she can sense your sorrow. She starts to walk one step closer and closer to you. Trying to see if you're going to say anything as she keeps walking closer. She is unarmed. She has no weapons on her. She has no holsters or anything to hold weapons. She's got no pouches.
I don't shy away, but as she wordlessly starts walking towards me, I'll just be like, "Do you know Treya?"
I know Treya, but she never chose to come in here.
Why the fuck did she tell me to come here?
Treya has abilities that allow her to control what can come at you at random points. She didn't need my help. But she could also commune with me without actually doing what you're doing now. A feat that most mortals can't do. She did not need my help. But I told her to find me someone that required my help.
Commune with you, and you are...
She just like looks at you, and then she just kind of gives like a really quick bow. But she lifts herself up slowly. Aurelia, Eidolon of Order.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dahlia.
Pleasure.
Let's just get this shit out of the way. Are you going to kill me?
Of course not. Why would I want to kill you?
Are you gonna ask me for eternal servitude or some crazy shit? Are you going to gaslight me or make me sign some really shitty contract? Like,
what the fuck? No. What? Who do you think I am?
insight check.
Okay, good insight check.
They have to make a comeback at some point. Oh, that's fun. Fuck you, that was even worse. 21.
21. She's not going to, harm you, gaslight you. She's not going to do any of those things that you were just, talking about.
That's she. All right.
She just looks at you. Do you know what Eidolon is?
Do I?
I mean, based off your research, you might. You can give me a history check or intelligence check.
I feel like we've discussed them before.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically if you can remember the information. You guys have been...
Yeah, my player brain does not.
Okay,
but Dahlia got a working class 20, so...
Okay. You've encountered an Eidolon before. You've encountered Anima.
Oh, fuck that guy.
You also know what an Eidolon is. An Eidolon is the soul that's within a blade of Bahamut. You now understand that what you're holding in your hand is a Bahamut blade.
See, I was speculating, but...
She's had one this whole time?
Yeah, she's had one. Believe it or not, you guys fucking check everyone else, but you guys never actually check Treya. Like, you guys check everyone, but not Treya.
If memory serves, she's actually never conveniently been around every time we checked. So.
But she's done sketch shit around you. She's like murdered people just cause. Like it's
Innocently murdered people. I mean, we gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Treya. I named my rabbit after her, so homegirl's got a rep.
So what you would know is that she is the Eidolon of Order. what that means, even as a player, you don't know that. You just know that she'd be the Eidolon or the Blade of Bahamut of Order.
So you're a Blade of Bahamut, I presume?
That is what the dagger is. Yes, I'm the soul within.
Right. Sorry.
It's alright.
Of Order, what does that entail?
Well, before I was housed in this contraption, I was in charge of keeping balance between good and evil, regulating what I would consider order. But order itself also is a way to control one's power, allowing you to have balance between your own magic and, let's say, the opposing magic. But a major reason of what I can do, specifically to you, I was the first one in existence to have visions. I can help you control them and focus on them whenever you want.
And can you help me change them?
You mean change the future?
Yeah.
That's a little difficult. She kind of like looks at you with like a curious look. There's another term for what order is, as she looks around at you. Destiny. One cannot change it. One can only just follow a path. I can help you see it, so you can at least avoid smaller effects. But major events
Is this
cannot
along
be altered.
the same lines of fate?
I am
Fate
not-
and destiny hand in hand?
I am not Fate and Destiny, but I cannot change Fate and Destiny.
I have a really shitty fate going on down the line, and I would like to not have to go there.
You don't have to, but the event that happens will still happen, whether you are there or not. But possibly with me, you can make sure that you will not be present for this event. Events cannot change, especially one that I can sense that you are thinking about. It is something that has affected millions, and thus cannot change. But only several few know that you were there. Thus, you do not have to be there.
What happens if I'm not there?
The event still happens, but someone else is sacrificed.
Can you tell me who?
I won't know till we get closer. I cannot see all the weaves until we get closer. I can only see maybe a couple. I see another tiefling, and I see an Azamar.
Can you be more specific right now? Can you tell me any more well, look, this is a lot to unpack right now. I want to know. I do.
Well, if you want me to give you information, then you only have to do one thing. If you're willing to do it.
See, you said I wouldn't sign the contract.
There's no
Eternal
contract.
servitude?
This is not
Selling my
servitude,
soul?
but a blade must be attuned. You want to use my power? You must be attuned to my housing. You must wield the blade. You're not serving me, but that cannot give you my power unless you actually have my power. Currently, you do not have my power. You have not accepted me.
Is it possible to accept two blades at once?
She like starts looking at you. You have another blade? I didn't sense one of my brethren.
I'm just asking out of curiosity, nothing more. I'm learning about blades right now.
She's gonna insight
Look,
check
the
you.
Greek process. Okay. The Greek process is very sticky and it's gross and it's sad. And I'm really sad right now.
17.
I don't even remember what I asked. Alright, I'm just gonna roll a thing. I got a natural fucking 20.
Okay. She like looks at you. Well, to your question, no. If you already have the power of a Bahamut blade at your disposal, you must relinquish that power to gain mine. But as far as I can tell, you do not have one.
I don't. Can you wield two, but not have the attunement to the two?
As a DM, I'm totally fucking confused on what your plan is.
Don't
But okay.
Just don't. So we're workshopping this right now.
She looks at
She's
you.
unwilling to put down Gaju's sword, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not.
I just want to keep this one for sad reasons,
Well,
but not really.
Gaju's sword's not a blade of Bahamut. It is a
Oh,
it
I
is a
thought it
godly
was. Okay,
it's a
fuck.
godly blade, but it is not a blade of Bahamut.
Oh, okay, then.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, that's what I was like sweating. I was like, but wait. Okay. Alright,
But
you know,
wait,
I think
There's
that's
also-
what she was talking about, but I wasn't meaning to interrupt.
for the sake of not having to retcon shit, the question still stands. Out of curiosity, I could come into possession of 20 of them. Out of the 9.
If you were holding another blade, you would unable to use its power, but it, by all intents and purposes, would just be the basic version of itself. If you already were somehow attuned to another sword, I would just be a regular dagger to you.
Okay. Good to know. Love learning about these things.
I guess I should mention to you, you seem overly curious. There's a reason why mortals cannot hold more than one of us. Our power is unique. If one tries to attempt to wield two of us, at best, they'll go insane. At worst, you'll die.
I am not power hungry, so
So I would recommend if you attune to me, do not attune to another Blade of Bahamut.
noted. Out of curiosity, if I attune to you, can the sadness atmosphere go away? Can it be something happy, like a cottage in the woods, or
I didn't create
really
this place.
pretty river? I'm just like, she's just gonna be like, look at her heads, be like, stop being sad, you bitch.
She's like, this is all you. I am only watching what you see. My major purpose to help you will allow you to see these visions as more memories than fleeting dreams. To see
And
them
gather-
as a full screen.
So I can gather specifics, details, possibly even change the way that they're seen. Or if something happens in an event in time and the vision is changed, am I able to see the new changed version of it?
Depends how close we are to that vision. If you're looking at, and she like points at the one of the fire and the sacrifice, that is very long down the road. I can maybe give you a year to see what the alteration is. I can help you try to veer the path, but to see what the overall solution can turn into, that would have to be closer to a year.
Okay.
But I
Okay,
can
fine, I'll
help
do
you.
it.
As all of a sudden you just start feeling very similar to your sacred blades enhanced in your hands. And then your sacred blades appear. But not 2, but 12. And instead of you holding them, they're spinning around you. Like a carousel around you. Give it some time. Contact me tomorrow. Until then, I at least grant you with one of my abilities.
Is this a cool ability?
And then you're going to start noticing the rain start calming down. And it's just going to start to disappear as you move back into your body, back in the cabin. The blade is in your hand. And you start looking at it, starts to disappear in your hand. The only blade of Bahamut that does not have to be wielded. It is part of your magic.
I check my dagger holsters just to be sure.
I mean, the
I really
daggers
like
are there.
the amethyst, though. She says, I really like the amethyst, though. And she takes a scope of the room that she's in, and she goes, nope, this is too much energy for me today, and she fucking books it out of the room.
Okay. Alright. As now the ship is more balanced, it is full in the sea. Anything anybody wants to do before the departure begins? Cool. As Arthur just looks at Dira. Captain, are we all set?
Yeah. What was it? Take her out.
Would you like the wheel? As he just stands by it, ready for you to take it.
Sure. All right. I can do this.
A few people like hang onto the rail, unsure about how you actually can sail. All right.
And I will give appropriate orders and steer the tiller appropriately as per my abilities that I have been practicing when we were on the ship.
Okay. Perfect.
Which was mostly in the air. So it's going to feel real weird. Okay. But
by this time, when you guys would have had the ship set, after eating food, it's more about 2 p.m. as you start taking sail. For that day, the weather's fair. Wind is not necessarily against you, it's on your side. It is clear sailing. So, by the end of the day, you're going to about here, right by the end of Aberdeen. Without any speed of the actual sails on your side. For the rest of the day, is there anything specific you guys want to do before we go into a rest?
Once I turn the tiller over after an appropriate shift, I am going to go looking for Hades.
Okay.
And probably will start where the books live, because I figure that's where he'll be.
Where the books live, nice.
Always where the books live.
Always where the books live.
The door is not locked this time.
All right, I want to knock anyway. Hey, Hades.
Yes, go ahead.
I know you don't have time. I know you're real busy. But
it's fine. Come in.
You understand. I gotta ask you. You've been studying the stuff about these. I kind of go in. You've been studying about these blades, right?
No more than anybody else.
No, more than anybody else on board. And this one that I got, God, you wanted me to have it. Everybody seemed to think that it was meant for me, but what Ren found out, it sounds like it wants to eat the other ones. I don't know if anybody should.
No, not quite, Dira. I don't remember if I told you this or not, but while we were at the party, the one blade. Do you remember the big angry bird lady that we dealt with when we found Gadru's dead? Well, she spoke to me. If you remember when the blade came flying out of the bag of holding during the party.
I remember that. Yeah, I had to duck.
Well, she decided to make an appearance after talking to me, but informed me that that blade is not a blade of Bahamut, but the blade of Bahamut. The blade itself does not consume the other blades. It fuses with, takes their power, whatever you may say, and has the ability to resurrect the physical embodiment of Bahamut. But it is also the only thing that can kill him, or it, whatever it is.
That seems like a real bad design.
One would think. I've come to find that a lot of these things
that's
are...
like those curses that they put in the stories that they put on the people, and then they come back from the dead with all kinds of powers. So, what'd you go put that curse on them for?
That is a fair... I can't even think of the word right now. Comparison. Thank you. Yes.
Gods don't make sense.
I would have to agree. But regardless, the blade of Bahamut that I talked to did say that only a person who is generally good of pure heart and all that would be able to wield that blade, because others who have tried, it has slowly killed.
I got that part. It's just, is it a good idea? We got Silik's got one, and I guess Soma's got one now. If there are other ones on board, should we even be... What'll happen?
We know, as far as I can tell, these blades have a consciousness that lives in them. The winged lady lived in the one that was in the bag. Do I know that someone has that one now?
We saw that's where it flew to. I believe. The wind blade.
Oh,
the wind blade, I think?
Yeah, it has Kazushimi. Yes, someone has Kazushimi. Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, we saw it.
I'll just be like, I know the one that Soma has. Had the consciousness of that creature in it. I don't believe that Soma has that, right? We should probably we should probably discuss that with him.
Yeah,
we know
a lot happened. It went flying to him in the throne room, and then everything went.
Yeah, it's over tea kettle. Well, perhaps somebody should talk to him about that, because that's probably not a good thing. Regardless, there is a possibility that there would be some form of consciousness within the blade that you currently have. And honestly, it would be completely up to you whether you wish to investigate that and find out if it is or not.
Who are you speaking to directly?
Sorry? It's just the two of us talking.
Oh.
In where the books live.
Gotcha.
Is that actually your quarters, or is there...
No, that's actually just the study where the teleportation ring is. I have my own sleep area.
Okay.
He's got a little cot in the corner.
Yeah.
Just a little hammock.
All right. Well, I guess sooner's better than later. We've got too many questions hanging over us as it is. I just want to make sure I'm gonna, I don't know, start trying to get the other ones or something.
Well, I would say that it might be wise to have someone like Zephynia with you, somebody with the abilities of more than a mere mortal that would be able to perhaps help you in a situation if the sword does go awry.
I guess. I don't know what it's going to do, but I guess it's time to find out. I can't just keep it wrapped up under my bunk forever.
Yes, they seem to find a way out.
Didn't you have that in the bag of holding?
Case in point.
Alright, well that answers that question. Well, thank you. I'll let you get back to whatever. I know you're real busy. You eaten anything?
Do you remember the carriage ride over to the party?
Yeah.
You remember how I said that I just didn't really think I was breathing for a period of time there?
Yeah.
I still haven't. And I haven't really had a desire to eat anything, and honestly, I haven't really wanted to sleep. I just kind of passed out of habit, I suppose. But,
Hades, that don't seem like it's good.
I feel as though it's probably just this outfit that we purchased. I think this was one of the abilities the gentleman had said that it had, and I just never really, I guess, took that into consideration. But I'm okay. I feel fine.
Are you sure?
Well,
Maybe
all
you
things
should take
considered
it.
of what's going on.
Maybe you should take it off for a little while and do some normal things.
This is about as normal as it can be for right now.
I mean, eat and sleep and be a person.
Still living and doing things as necessary, and I mean, I can eat. I don't have to, but I mean, I can if I so desire. It's just how it is.
Alright, well, I guess I'll keep an eye on that then, 'cause
That is fair.
that don't seem right. I mean, I can see where it'd be convenient and all that, but I don't know. It just seems like something I'd worry about. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Of course, of course.
Alright, and I'm going to go find Sophia.
Okay.
Where am I likely to find you?
See me standing off on the ship deck, kind of where you and I used to fight. And I'm just kind of staring out at the water right now.
Hi. How you doing?
Hey, no. Right now, how about you?
I hear you're going in and out.
Any better? 1, 2, 3, testing.
It's picking up. Like,
why? Why?
I heard the why.
I got the why. I got the
I
why.
heard the why.
Maybe I just have to speak louder.
There we go.
Not
That
be
works.
stressing and depressing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
shout.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I'm good. How about you?
It should have gotten you when you moved it closer, but it doesn't seem inclined. Well, I just had a talk with Hades. I think we should keep an eye on him. He said, I asked him about why he ain't been eating. He said he don't think he's been breathing since we were in the carriage. He thinks it's that coat he bought.
He hasn't been breathing.
That's what he said. He don't seem concerned about it, but I think we should
I
keep an
think
eye on
we
him.
should be concerned about it.
He said he said. I mean, he said he says he feels fine.
They always say they feel fine when they're not.
That's kind of what I thought, but I don't know. He just gets Hades about things. And anyway, the other thing. So I think we should keep an eye on him.
Definitely keep an eye.
But the other thing is he thought maybe you should be there when I try to figure out what's going on with this sword.
I'll always be there.
He don't
Whatever
think
you
it's
need.
going to try and eat Silix and Somas or whatever right away, but
That's a possibility.
I mean, it says, I don't know, it sounded like that to me. Hades don't seem to think so. He understands it better than I do, so. But
Maybe
like
we
I told
take a
him,
look
I
at it away from everybody.
can't keep it wrapped up under my bunk forever, so will you come and just kind of, I don't know, take it, see, pull me off it if something bad happens or whatever?
Of course.
Alright.
Do you want to do that now?
Might as well get it out of the way while we're not doing anything else, I guess.
Now or never, right?
Right. Well, if everything goes wrong, I guess Arthur's the captain. Let's go try it.
Let's hope nothing's gonna go wrong.
I wouldn't be
I'm
surprised
just
by
walking to
anything.
Mira's room like, it's not gonna go wrong. Nope. Not gonna go wrong. Nothing else. We're gonna be fine. She's gonna
I
be
wouldn't be
fine.
surprised by anything at this point, but everybody seems to think that's what's meant to happen, so it was Gaji's by right. He said I should take it. Time to step up. So we're going to go to my cabin. and close the door. And I am going to take the package out from under my bed, assuming it's still there. And you asked me about it. I'm suspicious. And unwrap it and take it in my hand.
You're skin the handle. We're doing this.
Skin to
All right,
hilt.
cool. All
We're
right,
doing
awesome.
this.
I love it. Great. Let me pull up some information. I did not think this was gonna happen in this episode. Give me a moment. Oh, boy.
It has been eating at me for like 2 days.
You know what? I'm gonna need a minute to pull up the right information. Let's take like a 10-minute break. We'll be right back.
Break it is.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
I'm gonna do that.
All right, we're back. So, as Dira decides to go Fulmati and grab a hold of the sword without any protection, much like Dahlia being pulled into a world, the exact same thing happens for you, but you are not communicated to about it first. You immediately get pulled into a world, but for you, this is a sense of familiarity, a sense of calm. Almost as if this is like the god, you're going to like a realm for the god that every paladin thinks that they should actually be the knight for, kind of like that. As you start to feel radiance, you start to feel peace, but you also feel strength being here. As you are within this place, instead of it being complete darkness, much like how Dahlia started, you are in what seems similar to what we would depict heaven to be. You're kind of up in the sky. You're kind of not really in the clouds, but there's like an ethereal kind of like wave in the air, almost like an aurora borealis. So you're kind of walking through, but it's all like golds and silvers that you're kind of like walking through. You don't see much right off the bat. But as you look down, you can give me an investigation check as you start to take in your surroundings.
It's a 2 for a 1.
Awesome. I love it. All right.
Had to be investigation.
Look at that, pretty stars. As you look down, you see that there's something of importance beneath you. Now, this isn't like right beneath your feet. Maybe, 200 feet down, but maybe with all these things going on, you're just not clicking to you. You start to hear a voice. It sounds. It's hard to tell if it's male or female. But you hear a voice telling you it's been some time since one has dared grab a hold of the blade. Let's see how long this one can hold it for. But you don't see anyone.
Do I feel like I'm holding anything?
In this world, you're still holding the blade.
I am still holding it.
You're still holding it. Yep.
Is it a problem?
Right now, you can give me an insight or a medicine check on yourself, if you'd like, knowing the parameters of how this works.
Oh, medicine's at least a flat roll. Hey, natural 20.
Oh, look at that. As of this moment, it is having no negative effects on you. You could definitely tell that it's empowering you in some way. Did you do medicine or did you do... Which one did you do?
Medicine.
Medicine. It's empowering you some way, but you can't tell how.
Okay.
You can definitely tell it's having no negative effects on you at the moment, and it looks like at least for the next maybe 10 minutes it won't. Currently right now, yeah, nothing's affecting your body as far as a negative effect. The power itself... Nothing that you heard about is happening.
Hello?
You
There's
just
something I'm meant to be doing.
still don't see anybody, but you just hear the voice repeat and then just goes, "Greetings. I am not yet ready for you to see my visage. I'm more or less just going to see how this transpires."
Alright. Am I just waiting?
Feel free to walk around. Stretch out your legs.
Alright. I will walk around and see what I can find.
Okay. You have your goggles on?
Yes.
Okay. So as you're walking around, what you can see in front of you, beside you, and besides you, you are within a majestic castle. And starts to form it around you. Gold and steel builds up this castle. Where you are right now, unknowing how this castle is, since you're inside of it, you don't know where you're located in this castle or what kind of castle this is. But based on some parameters, you assume this is some castle made out of what you can assume is very similar power to what you wield, pure radiance. The floor itself that you're standing on now is what looks like a giant ritual room, but not ritual in a way of like dark magic, but like a puzzle. What you're standing on top is a large dial, probably about 100 feet wide. In the center, there looks like there's a small slit in the middle that's just on the ground, directly in the center. From it, there are 9 lines leading to different directions. Each that has a pedestal that has a similar hole into it to have something put in. With your goggles on, you can tell that the way this works is that once those keys, whatever goes inside those pedestals, engage, the power will be transferred over to this, and then whatever happens to this gets housed into whatever you put in the center. How long do you want to investigate this, or do you just want to hang? What do you want to do?
I'm just going to walk around the edge of it.
Okay.
I have not been instructed to mess with it, and I am not going to mess with it.
Okay.
It also kind of makes me think of this thing that we're not sure we want to have happen, so...
Okay. As you start to walk around, 2 of the dials for 2 of the pedestals start slowly moving. One is glowing with what looks like a teal luminescence. The other one's glowing what looks like a purplish luminescence. They are moving like our hands on the dial, but they're not fast. They're moving very, very slowly. The rest of them are staying completely still. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one other one that's moving. The one that is a hue of green. Sorry about that. As you hear another voice from the same, you start to hear the flapping of wings. Well, now the curiosity has overtaken me. You start to see this Asimar start to fly down. Full armored paladin. Huge pauldrons, breastplate, long shin guards and hip guards, metal all over, with wings larger than most Asimar you've seen. Flying down with pure light coming down, as what you would assume an angel would be coming down from. As he lands on the ground and just folds his wings behind him. A male with very feminine attributes. Just stands in front of you holding a blade that matches yours. As now when you look at his blade and you look down at yours, you start to notice a bit of a difference. His blade looks more complete. Yours is just clear silver without anything housed. His is the same thing, but his has gold trim on it. A gold guard, and a longer handle. Where yours is like a long sword, his has extra pieces to it that makes it more of a great sword. He starts to walk around not seeing anything. He's just kind of like inspecting you, watching the hand that's holding the blade. Looks at the 3 dials that are moving around. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. He keeps just walking around. No, you've lasted longer than most.
Am I supposed to be here? Is there something I'm supposed to be doing?
No, just stay still.
Alright.
Well, I guess we can use up some time. Looks at you. Who do you go by?
Dear Mullane.
Pleasure. Ultimaeus is my name. Really bows in
What a
front.
name.
This back up. Looks at you. You start to notice that on the 3 dials that are going around, now certain images start to pop up in front of them as they're moving around. They look like as they keep spinning, there is pieces of artwork that go above as they move around. The one looks familiar to you, as you see one of a creature that looks like the harpy that you guys had to avoid. That is the wind blade. Another one is what looks like a Decorian princess. And the other one is a drow. Female. Just looks at you. Okay, this is crazy. It's been 5,000 years and no one's held a blade this long. Well, one person. But he was suffering the whole time. You are not susceptible to any of the pain. Give me another medicine check.
19?
18. Still nothing's happening to you in a negative way. You don't know why. Even he is puzzled why you are not having any negative effects to the blade. Just looks at it. Just taps his blade to yours. Piece is missing.
That's what somebody said. We don't know much about that.
That's alright. Might be helpful to you to not have it. Well,
Sounds like as long as they had it in that case in the castle, it was like that.
yeah, I'd rather not be a trophy for people to be gawked at.
Didn't seem right.
Well, you've lasted longer than most. I'll at least explain to you a few things. You've held on the blade, so I'm assuming you're curious. Ever introduced myself, you've introduced yourself. I'm not a very secretive one, so I'll keep it out in the open.
Appreciate that.
I'm the blade that controls the rest. If you choose to wield me, do your best to not be near another one. Lest you absorb its power, and therefore kill the wielder.
Alright, well that might be a problem. That was kind of what I was worried about. Because there's folks I count on, and they're carrying them.
Well,
How close is close?
5 feet.
Alright. I guess I can manage that.
You can have me on your possession without any negative effects, but if you're wielding me, and if you have a friend you care about, loved one, that is wielding another one of my brethren, it'd be smart to not be that close. 5 feet would probably be the best. They would start to feel ill within 10, maybe 15. I am the singular blade, the one that was wielded by our asshole of a brother, or at least the housing is. But realistically, I contain no powers, other than the fact to control the rest. If you so desire, I have one purpose. The purpose is the obvious: to absorb and kill my brother.
That's two purposes.
Well, the absorption is what kills him.
I guess so.
If you so desire to absorb the power of other blades and not kill him, by all means. I don't care what you do. I'm more or less curious to see how long it happens.
What brother are you talking about, anyway?
Assuming you know of Dragon King, Bahamut?
Yeah.
Yeah. Him.
Why is he an asshole?
You think I got put in this blade by choice?
I understand it, none of you did.
I mean, he put us here. An eternal prison for people to wield us as they see fit.
Why'd he do that?
Why does anyone with power do anything? He wanted the power for himself, so he decided to say, fuck us, and then he decided to not like any cross opinions, no one objecting with him. And he figured, well, he wants to rule. No objections. Put his family in a frickin' box shaped as a blade. But I do find myself curious. Knowing this,
About what?
that what I can do, what would you do?
What would I do if what?
Well, with me. If you're holding the blade, I'm assuming you have some intention to do something with it. What's your intention?
My intention is to keep it out of trouble. Is there some place that, if I wasn't to wield you, if I wasn't to do that, is there some place you could be that would be safe?
Implying that note so no one can find me? Or at least the blade itself? Yeah, there's a couple. One itself, I don't know what your world is like now. But he kind of like presses his hand on the ground as like a map that shows. You can see it's altered compared to what you know, as the contents are a little bit different. He points about pretty much about like right here for one.
Sorry, I missed where you pointed. Okay.
And another one is pointed here.
Okay. So the tip of the Dark Veil and the center of Abereth.
Yeah, but on his map, those places don't exist. On his map, the Abyss Kingdom is not there, nor is there an island. And on his map, the Dark Veil is not the Dark Veil, it is actually Luscious Wilds. Within those spots are the two spots where I was forged. You have one of the pieces. Doesn't matter which one you take me to. If I'm there, unless someone can find me with their plain eyes, my magic is turned off.
I guess that's good to know. World has changed a bit since this, I gotta tell you that.
I'm not
Land
surprised.
there.
Can't assume
And
it's
that
any more
ain't-
darker than I left it.
No. That part for sure. There's land, there's people living there.
I do have a few questions for you, if you do not mind.
Of course.
The bleeding gods, how do they fare? Are they just?
That one I can answer easy. That one's a mess. They can't seem to decide amongst themselves how things should be. Whether we should even be independent, be creatures of our own, or puppets. Or, I don't know. All they seem to want to do is mess with folks. There anyone in particular you're talking about?
Stops, looks at you on his side. Would the gods of Moon, Star, and Death and Life still be present?
In a manner of speaking, they've gone and gotten real complicated. One, I guess, combined herself with another person, and the other one got split off into four, so she would stop doing what she was doing.
Where's your attention with them?
Hard to say. Lasner don't have much intention. Got folks I know. So far, she's been good to us, but she's got her own ideas of how she wants things to be, and she ain't real straight about it. Cobiel? She's a problem. And I don't know if we know how to solve it. Splitting her up, they thought that was a solution. I think it's caused more problems. I don't know. There was a time I thought maybe she could start over. Maybe she could learn. But there's part of her that don't got no reason. Don't got no care for nothing. And that's the part that's winning right now. And a whole lot of people are getting hurt because of it. And people are dying. She thinks she can start it all over and make it the way she wants. We're already here. You forged something. Whether it's how you wanted it when you started out or not, it's there. It exists. You can try to reforge it. You can try to remake it. What you made first, it'll always be in there. It ain't never going to be a clean start.
With your passive perception, you can tell that as you're saying these things, not like he's purposely peering into you, but almost like as you say things, they almost kind of like appear, like in the area.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good, because it'll be clearer than what I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm trying to be straight, I just don't understand this shit, so.
I thought where I came from and when I came from was complicated. Never thought it could get more complicated.
My experience, that's all anything ever does, is get more complicated.
Well, then I must ask you, dear Melaine, what, this Alasna, I'm not familiar with. I understand what she is. I don't understand how Cacopial became what she is, but I understand the problem. If come face to face was your intention, fight it out as a knight?
By myself, I don't know no other way. But I got friends, I got family. They're smarter than me. We're trying to do right by the world. We're trying to do right by anyone left who's just trying to make their way. Folks been overlooked for a long time. Well, the gods are all about their concerns and their jealousies and their fights. We're the ones that suffer. That's what I care about. Folks who don't got no say. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be put in the middle.
So you are...
You ask me what I think, that's what it is.
So you would protect them. You would fight for them.
That's the only thing I know.
Perhaps this is why you are not taking any damage. Whether or not you choose to wield me or hide me away is completely up to you. I will not hinder you, and I will not help you until you make a decision. But I will at least give you a piece of information, words of wisdom. She might be separated, but the piece that just caused you pain, caused you grief, she is not so easily destroyed as the one that you killed. There is one other thing that I can do as my blade, but it was not truly for its creation. Currently, right now, what you have is only partial of me. If you felt so daring, there is another piece somewhere in your realm. Find the forger to bring my pieces together. Think of it as a means to strengthen yourself against an unbeatable foe. She's not unstoppable, but it'd be a much greater weapon against someone so impervious. But your judgment is yours. I see that you are a warrior, a knight to protect many, even if it's laying down your life. And I would not try to convince you to change a mind, even if it's not set yet. You choose what you would do with the blade. Until then, wield me as you see fit. But until that time, I am but a simple blade. Commune with me as you see fit, and if you choose to wield my power, then that power will be yours. If you choose to bring me back to one of the locations I gave you, then so be it. You know this world better than I. You would know better than I would.
Yeah. You've been locked in a glass case for a real long time. Maybe you can learn a little more about where we are now, and maybe that'll help you understand as well.
I hate to say that this world no longer belongs to me and my brethren. Whether I see it or not, we do not belong in your time. We are creatures that should have died long ago. And the one thing that pleased me more than anything else is for us to finally have a rest, and for you all to be free of the world we left behind. Think on it. Until that time, I will be here. As he just bows, putting one wing in front of him. And as he lifts himself back up, the bright light overcomes you as you're back over holding the blade in reality.
And you see Z's face 2 inches from yours.
I'm all right. I'm right.
You sure? You're good.
Yeah.
Like looking you over.
I
No pain. No weird feelings.
No, not at all. He seemed as surprised about that as you are.
Okay.
That ain't what I expected.
What was it like?
I don't know. It wasn't what I expected. I expect these things to be, especially, all these gods we dealt with. Do this, do that. It's destiny, it's fate. This is, I don't know, I'm going to have to think about this a bit.
It didn't want anything from you, right?
If you told the truth, you told me where it could be stashed away and not have any power at all. He seems to think that their time is... He don't like it, but he thinks their time is past. Sounds like he wants to rest.
Maybe it's time for them to rest, but not until All Mother is gone.
Not till it's all done. Yeah, well, there might be a way to take care of that. Help take care of that as well. There's another piece
give
of
you
it.
any information?
There's another piece of it. He don't know what. Don't sound like he knows where. But ain't really gonna have the power until got both pieces. Till then, I got a sword. I got a voice. I don't know. I expected fire and lightning and something, I don't know. This is just kind of a sad fella. Resents being locked up. Don't think too kindly of Bahamut, but I don't know if we know enough about him to know whether that's right or not.
Well, he didn't harm you, so that's good.
He seems surprised by that. I don't think that's something he gets a choice about.
With all the stories we've heard about it, he probably is surprised.
Yeah, well, he said, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it was anything he'd have been doing. He was waiting for something to happen, and I guess it never did.
Is it happening now? Does he think something's changing?
He seemed a little confused about the way things are now. He said he was surprised that it's got more complicated than it was in his time. Didn't think it could get that way. Although, seems to be all things ever do is get more complicated.
It never get easier. But we move
True
forward.
True enough.
What are you going to do with the sword? Are you going to try and find the missing piece?
Well, I'm going to keep it away from Silic and Soma, I tell you that. And there was another one. There was a purple one. I don't know. Something.
What's the point in keeping them away?
It would take their power and kill the person carrying it, which I am not going to do to Silic or Soma.
No, we're going to keep that far away. You know that under the bed spot is a really good place for it.
For now, going to keep it there. Well, I need to keep it on me. If we'll go someplace, I'll just try not to get too close to them when I'm wielding it. I don't know.
You'll be fighting 10 feet away from us.
15 sounds like. At least from them.
15 feet away from us.
Well, you're all right. You're not holding one of the blades. It's just folks holding the blades that we need to worry. I don't know. We'll have to. It's a lot. We'll have to work it all out. But I don't know. Maybe it should stay under the bed. I just don't know that that's the safest place for it.
At least for now, it's safe.
We got a few answers, I guess.
Until we get to the port.
Yeah, that's where it's going now, for sure. I don't know. I'll sleep on it. Maybe things will make more sense in the morning. Thank you. Thank you for being with me.
I'm glad nothing bad happened. I'm glad you're okay.
Me too. It has been a day, a week, a life.
That it has.
It just don't seem real. What's Dahlia gonna do?
I don't know.
You
just know that it's not gonna be forever.
Yeah, well,
we've got to find
he told
a way.
Me, keep an eye on her, keep an eye on. Well, we definitely got to keep an eye on Hades. I don't know what him, but Dahlia.
A little worried about them both.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be out of our eyesight. I can guarantee that.
All we can do is keep them together until they are ready to hold themselves together, I guess. And not fall apart ourselves.
That's a big if.
It's a lot. We keep moving. That's the only way I know. Alright,
we should probably let the rest know at least what you found. Maybe not tonight, maybe tomorrow.
I think in the morning.
You seem like you need some rest.
Yeah, you too. You get good rest.
I'll try. You as well.
Yeah. Good night.
Night, Dira.
And I wrap it up, and I push it under the bed, and I curl up in bed and just kind of chew on all of that weirdness. And try and sleep.
Okay. Anybody else before the end of the first day's voyage?
Off the computer.
Ren is just going to use a lot of that evening to warg out into Bird and keep an eye on the landscape and maybe like send them out in the night to soar over like the tree line and the shoreline to see if there's any like settlements or people or anything. That's what they're going to do like this entire trip, is basically have a scout out all on the shore.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hades?
Nothing?
Notes, reading stuff, and then just eventually going back to the bunk and just kind of like laying there.
Okay. Anything Vidalia?
Are we on the water yet?
Yeah.
Or,
No,
or
yeah, you guys have been.
where are we?
Yeah, you guys are right here.
Okay. So we're on the water sailing south?
Yep,
I
you're going
recall?
south. You're following the shoreline around, and you're heading over to the other side of Nelithir.
Okay. After everything, and being back in the room even for just what feels like a little bit, Dahlia just finds an unnamed bottle of wine, just like that one time with Gaiju, returns back to her safe boat, if you will, and just watches the shoreline and drinks the whole thing.
Okay. Anybody else other than getting drunk? Cool. So, as the night progresses, Ren, as Bird, you're able to see that there is no settlements around this side that have any activity at all. They're burnt. Any of them that have any kind of harbor at all, the harbor itself is even destroyed. But there is no activity of any kind. You see occasionally a couple bodies that you can tell are fully dead due to the decay and bugs flying over them. No activity. Is everybody gonna take a long rest? Okay. Everybody can hit the long rest button. Couple things. We are going to start off with Sophinia. So, Sophinia, as you're sleeping, you find yourself in an odd area. You know you're asleep. You know you're dreaming. But for some reason, you can control yourself. Pilot yourself in the stream. The area is odd. You've never been here before. You're in some kind of almost like a obsidian cavern. Based on the sound, you're deep underground somewhere. Echoes reverberate. But you also see these pipes that cross back and forth, large enough to, well, at least 10 feet wide as far as the dimensions, crossing from cavern to cavern of wall. You find yourself on a platform. You look at your hands. After a bit, you notice you've been scratched up. No one's actually cut you, but you've been in some kind of scuffle of some kind. Your knuckles are a little bruised. You can feel that your eye hurts a bit. You can barely stand, but you're balancing yourself with your wings, allowing yourself to at least keep yourself level. With only having a few seconds here, I need you to give me a perception check.
That is gonna be...
What'd you get?
a 5.
5. A lot of this is hard to see through. Maybe due to like the bruised eye. however you are seeing through yourself, you're only seeing through half vision. And it's blurry. You're kind of going in and out like you're almost have a concussion. You can definitely tell two things. One, as before that you just appeared here, whatever you were doing, you just fell from somewhere. As you can tell that your back is sore. And if you had to stand up on your own weight, you'd be in straight pain. Two is one person you can see that you're looking up on that looks like they're the one that maybe pushed you over or punched you or kicked you. However, they forced you over. Due to your perception check, you can't see who the person is. But you can tell the person's female. Slender. But that's all you can really tell. And they're looking at you with malicious intent. That's in your vision. Dira, you are back in the chamber that you were talking to Ultimatus, but not in the actual world he created for you. You seem like you're in the real world of what he created. Whatever this place is that exists truly in your realm. You can feel the coarseness of the ground that is this giant puzzle of this circular room. It looks the same, but it looks like due to maybe no one ever used this room, it has decayed. Moss, plant life growing through it, some of the walls being cracked, but it looks like the magic store remains in the place. Many of the gears that move the different lines have been rusted over. But you can tell just being in the presence of the area is glowing the center pedestal. But as you look around, you notice, due to some of the cracks in the ground, there is water leaking from somewhere above you. Small drops, not enough to flood the place. It's draining somewhere. And due to coming down, you can kind of see your reflection a little bit. You're wearing a different kind of armor. Full still paladin, but it seems a lot more ornate. Full helm on, but you can't see much past that. That's it for the visions for tonight. I need someone to roll me a d20 for the next day.
Okay.
Oh, good. I was just reaching for my dice of destiny. I'm going, no.
All right.
Roll good.
18?
Okay. We're gonna end it there.
I guess that was
I don't
good.
even know what an 18 is.
Nope.
That's not a good vibe.
So, we will start off the next session for the next day, seeing how 18 approaches you with weather and any kind of ailments affecting the ship. So,
If you leave us on a cliffhanger and then we join and we get on next Tuesday and you're like, nothing happens, it was great, I'm gonna chuck something through
but are we getting on next
But
Tuesday?
that's half the fun of it.
Is it next Tuesday or a week off?
Yep.
No. Is
So
it?
in
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yep.
It
Next week
is.
next week is the last week of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah.
We have a 2-week hit
So-
cliffhanger.
Yep.
Guess so.
So,
Feels like gotta leave him with something.
There are worse cliffhangers than 18.
yeah.
There are.
So,
Listen, it could have been Dira touching the sword.
yeah, and then
Right?
we're like, yeah, we're done there. All right, thank you for everybody watching the stream. Like you just heard, next Tuesday we will be off, so gotta give ourselves a week of vacation. But do not forget that we have Echoes tomorrow, and if you are in the Beloit, Wisconsin, Illinois area, whether or not you want to play or you just want to watch, please come check out 5 Bar for our D&D Pride session. I got some characters created, and if you want to play, I do have a few slots available. That being said, everybody have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.